Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
We are underway, and happy Monday, everybody.
We made it to week 2.
We did. What a weekend with the weather. Unbelievable. We have a jam-packed 2 hours for you today. I'm Jay Crawford. Later in the show, they called him Pronk. Part project, part Shrek. I guess that's a compliment. Travis Hafner, formerly of the Cleveland Indians, will join us live.
I'm G. Bush, and I'm going to tell you later on in the show why Jarvis Landry was expendable in Kevin Stefanski's playbook.
And I'm Brad Sellers. I'm here to talk about the resurgence of Ohio State basketball, what that means for the Buckeyes going forward, and how Chris Holtmann is going to take us in a new direction.
And I'm former Mets catcher Mike Piazza. And let me tell you something here. Aaron Civale is having big problems, and we need to send his ass down to Columbus. That's coming up in a little bit.
I haven't seen Piazza in a while. You've changed.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, I retired. I got a little heavy.
Chris Holtmann will join us live on the program. We're looking forward to that. Mikey McNuggets, is that the nickname we're going with, or do we make it official this week? What's the plan?
Wednesday, live Twitter poll. Stay tuned. But right now, Mikey McNuggets is the leader in the clubhouse.
So it's the placeholder. What are you looking forward to on today's show?
I'm hot about my top 5. I've been roasted all weekend for my food takes. This is not a food top 5, but I've came prepared with excellent analysis.
Do we get a hint as to what the topic is, or are you going to make us wait?
I'll tell you right now. It's the least likable TV characters in recent memory.
Oh, wow. Okay. Least likable TV
Least
characters.
likable. The worst
All right,
of the
very
worst.
good. All right, we'll
Hold
get to that in just a little bit. Go ahead, G.
Hey, by the way, before I take my hat off, y'all got to recognize. See that's the cursive. They don't sell these. Y'all might not get this. I got the most gear in the world. I got the Millennium timepiece on right here. Look how big. That's a chandelier. By the way, this is defensive line gear. I'm an assistant defensive line coach. I get the water bottles out when they're thirsty. Don't nobody got this. By the way, we're gonna do that. I'm just showing y'all. Got the Timbs on today. Just the Timbs light.
Oh, going Tim.
Just Timbs.
Right.
Timbs is
Where'd you
today.
get that?
Listen, I got this from Andrew Barry.
You did?
He
Directly
said-
from Andrew Barry?
Andrew Barry said the people's champion's in the building. Here go your care package.
I had to go to the big man store to get my new Guardians shirt here, right?
Yeah.
And, we've talked about this. They don't have a lot of stuff for short, fat guys. Everything's for tall, fat
You
guys.
did get you some Guardians.
It's
gear. I
not
like
bad.
that. Okay.
It's not bad. I couldn't. I was trying to get Ohio State stuff there, Brown stuff. It wasn't fitting me quite right. So
Are
we'll
we
see how
good
it
though,
goes.
man? We good.
Well, the weight loss challenge starts this week.
Tomorrow.
right?
Yes.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So Bull and G. Bush are going to see who can lose the most weight.
That's right.
That's
What
right.
are we doing? It like 6 months, 3 months, a month?
I-
Regular weight?
I don't know. We got to figure out the details on how long, but we're weighing
Right.
in tomorrow. There's like a 1950 scale in the workout area
Yes.
in the next room.
It is accurate. I'll have you know.
Is that including the vegan diet?
No, I don't think anything.
I'm not
is-
doing vegan.
No, these guys won't touch
No.
that.
I said,
It's
Maybe
called,
they want to do some vegan action.
Yeah.
It's called, it's called starvation.
We got to trim it down. Let's
All right.
go.
That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. We're looking forward to that. Well, here's where we're going to start, guys. The Browns had their rookie mini camp,
Yeah.
and the big talk of the camp, I thought, was David Bell. He's the wide receiver from Purdue, all Big Ten guy. All he does is have 1,000-yard seasons. In his 3 seasons at Purdue, 2 of them were full seasons. He managed to go over 1,000 yards in the 2 full seasons. Obviously, the COVID-shortened season kind of screwed all the stats up. But this is for most people that watch the Big Ten regularly. He's the guy in the Big Ten. He was the receiver that you would want. And now Jarvis Landry is officially out of Cleveland. Jarvis signing a 1-year, $6 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. This happened late on Friday. And so basically, you're going to just plug this Bell guy right into the slot receiver at a big savings.
Yeah.
How much does Kevin Stefanski love this guy? Let's listen to what Kevin Stefanski rarely effuses praise. He doesn't say much.
Nope.
He really doesn't. But listen to what he had to say about the Browns' new third-round pick receiver, David Bell. Here it is.
A very competitive player, catches the ball really well. We thought he had some savviness. So I think when you're looking at the draft, Scott, there's so many guys that can fit. You better have a lot of guys that can fit in your scheme. It's really what traits do you feel like you can exploit, so to speak. So we thought he was really competitive at the catch. Has some versatility to play outside, inside. Organizationally, we're very excited to add David. He was somebody that throughout the process, I know our coaches, our scouts, everybody's excited about him. So he did a nice job today. He doesn't say a lot. He's pretty reserved, but he's very intelligent. Did a nice job with what we gave him today, and I expect him to continue to take strides every day.
Yeah, that's the hope as a rookie. So clearly what happened here was Kevin Stefanski looked at all the receivers in the draft, and he was looking for a Jarvis Landry model, a guy that can do what Jarvis did in this offense.
Yeah.
He had told Andrew Berry from as late as, or as early rather, as the early second round, that's my guy, go get him. And they got him.
You know who he reminds me of? My early impression of him is another guy in this division, similar to Jarvis Landry, and it's Tyler Boyd of the Bengals, right? Who's an underrated wide receiver because the Bengals got some young, sexy names there. But Tyler Boyd has been like this steady, good, solid. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler. He's not an All-Pro. But he's just been a good, solid guy who's got great hands, not elite speed, but he catches everything, runs good routes. David Bell reminds me of Tyler Boyd. I think he's going to be that same mold of receiver. I don't think we're ever going to see David Bell as an All-Pro or anything like that. But I get the sense he's going to be the type of guy that's going to turn into this consistent, good player, like Jarvis Landry, like Tyler Boyd.
If he becomes Tyler Boyd, I think the Browns would take that with a heartbeat.
Well, you got a playmaker in quarterback, right? So you need guys that can make plays. And then the slot guy is the guy that is the most dependable guy when the quarterback is in trouble.
Right.
He's looking for the slot guy to make a play, right?
I want guys with hands and runs routes.
And that's what he does. The book on him is he has great hands and runs great routes.
Yeah.
You know what? You guys are parents, right?
Sure.
Remember how it used to be Christmas and your kids wanted one thing?
Did they?
And they wanted multiple things. But you got them one thing, right? The big thing, the big ticket item. And then they get it, they open it on Christmas Day, and guess what? That's all they care about. You got them all these other clothes and whatever. They open that up, they're good to go. Kevin Stefanski sound like this was the guy he went into the draft, and he had a wish list. He said, Andrew Berry, get me one guy. And he was still there. They picked him. And I think he's so comfortable with it now. You can hear him talking like, I already got plays for this guy. I know what he's going to do. And the thing that stands out to me with the statistics, he just put those up there, 93 catches in a Big Ten. That's big. That means they're targeting you in a lot.
In inclement weather.
Yes.
In inclement weather.
And good competition. Michigan State, Iowa, Ohio State. I think, this is what made Jarvis Landry slightly expendable.
And to your point, G, it's since he's playing at Purdue and not Ohio State, it's not like he's got all these superstar talents around him. Purdue's a good team, but it's not Ohio State.
He got everybody's best corner every week.
Exactly.
And he still scored 21 touchdowns in 29 Big Ten games. Guys,
that's
really good.
That's tremendous.
That's impressive.
So what kind of a drop-off, if any, do we see at the Browns just in that position from Jarvis Landry, who we know what he was, to a guy that's an unknown? Do you see this being a huge drop-off? It's going to be a drop-off, but not so much because you've got Amari Cooper now.
Yeah. Well, you missed the veteran savvy of Jarvis Landry. I mean, that's something that's going to be missed. In terms of the production on the field, Jarvis wasn't that productive last year, so I don't know if statistically.
He was hurt.
Right, he was hurt. It was the first time he'd ever been hurt. I don't know if it's a huge drop-off statistically, but going into the season, you're going to trust Jarvis Landry more than you're going to trust him. I mean, it's a rookie versus a guy who's a proven veteran and a guy who's been a Pro Bowler at times. So I think it's on paper it's a drop-off, but in reality it may turn out not to be at all.
Well, there's always a ramp-up period, I think, for a young player coming to the league, right? Jarvis Landry is an all-pro, right? He's a guy that you can count on, depend on over time. David Bell has a high upside, good bandwidth out here. Take him a little ramp-up time because, the first thing they're going to do is when they put you out in the slot, somebody's going to be waiting to get in your chops here, right? And see if you can take these chops here, right? And then,
he's got nice size, though. He's like 6'1",
so once you get past,
bigger than Jarvis.
Once you get past that, then learn, because there's a skill set to any pro playing any sport. You have to learn how it works, right? And learn how you can get off in your game, get your game off in the flow of the offense. So the good thing for us is that if we have Watson under center, a guy who can make plays, the options we have in the backfield, Hunt and Chubb, right? We can spread the ball out, figure out who we're going to. this may open up opportunities for a guy like Bell.
Defense is not worried about him.
And I think David Njoku is scheduled to have a big year this year.
I think so too.
I think all those balls they was throwing to Hooper, and he was turning around tripping over the lines in the turf monster, turning around sliding backwards.
What a terrible signing that was.
I mean, what happened to you? Did you get hurt moving your gear from Atlanta to Cleveland? I'm confused at what we were getting, but I think David Njoku is going to be used more in this offense. So you got to think about that. You got to think about Donovan Peoples-Jones,
who still has upside.
And
Anthony Schwartz is still there too.
Schwartz did nothing as a rookie, but was a high draft pick. But listen, David Njoku has great skills.
Yes.
Right? He should be more productive. Now, part of it, he's had injuries over the years, not really last year. Part of it is they just haven't used him at times. Part of it's they don't have Austin Hooper. But part of it, he's been inconsistent. You're right, Hooper's always fallen down. But Njoku over the years has had a lot of bad drops.
Bad drops.
Right?
Yep.
It's almost like he makes the great play where he's got to jump up and show his athletic ability. But the routine play, he'll drop.
They dropped a lot of routine balls last year, not just him.
He should be at least a borderline top 10 tight end.
Well,
I think with his skill set, he's got to show that consistency.
Well, when you have a top tier quarterback, they're going to demand that of you, right? Or I'm not coming your way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's like the point guard out here. I just won't pass you the ball. You'll never see it.
I'll give that to Jay. This could be said. For whatever Baker Mayfield his shortcomings are, they dropped a lot of rocks.
No doubt.
I mean, even going to Jarvis, there was games.
Look at the Steelers game.
Jarvis was dropping 2-3. I'm like, wow, what's going on?
Odell had some bad drops.
Odell had some drops. So, I'm not going to put it all on Baker. The whole receiving core, as you could tell, they needed to get better. The whole offensive passing game needs to get better because if you look at it, Hooper's not there, Baker's not going to be there, Odell and Jarvis is not going to be there. And Rashard Higgins is gone. So they overhauled the whole offense, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, at least the receiving core. Let's listen to David Bell. This is what he was saying at the Volunteer rookie camp.
Really, wherever they need me, whether it's outside, inside, in the backfield, they want to hand me the ball a little bit. I doubt it, but wherever coach decides to put me at, that's where I see it. So I'm just trying to learn the full concepts of the offense instead of just trying to focus on one position. That means a lot. I'm just really thankful for the opportunity just to be out here, mingle with the teammates, but to have the coach's trust. I know I'm going to have to continue to build that by out here making plays and how I walk through the facility and how I treat people.
He doesn't look like a rookie. He looks a little older. He looks like a man, right?
Sounds a little older, too, doesn't he? He sounds like he's already a seasoned veteran.
And he's not a tiny guy, as you were saying, Jay.
He's got nice size.
Get that man's birth certificate. How old is he?
You don't see many rookies talking about, put me in the backfield. Hand me the ball.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, do you? Is that what you want to do?
That's the green light. That's that green light talk. I done been on teams where people like me a lot, and I've been on teams where coaches like, I don't know about that G. Bush cat. We not spot. When he got the green light. He you can tell he got the confidence because when your coach puts you in a position and he get to you, close the door, say, look, these are all the areas we're gonna work with you right here. We're gonna get you the ball here. Look, that gives you confidence to come out and talk about it and say, hey man, I'm ready to go. You can tell coach is gonna put him in some different places. And you know what's exciting? It's actually exciting. I watched the Cavs this year. It's exciting to see new players, young players you ain't seen before.
Yeah, I love it.
It's always fun. So I'm anxious to see what the receiving core can do. Maybe we can find out our football version of Darius.
And I just thought about it. We ran Jarvis out of the backfield sometimes. In runs, right?
Well, look how the Chiefs use their small receivers.
Yeah.
When you're a playmaker. Yeah. Just find a way to get the ball in the player's hands.
Bengals did Jamar Chase in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
why not?
When you have a good, skilled player like that, you get him the ball however you get him the ball and let him do something with it.
I have a lot of hopes for him. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Right.
They don't need him to be.
No.
What they need him to be is a serviceable slot guy who's reliable, 3rd and 7. Deshaun feels comfortable enough that I can find him over the middle. He's going to catch the ball, take a hit, and move the chains. That's what they need him to do.
And rookies, Jay, and one of us was talking about this either before the show, I think. Rookies at that position are developing much quicker. In the last couple of years, it used to be you drafted a wide receiver. It's like a couple of years, he'll be a factor. Now we're expecting these wide receivers, and even though he's a 3rd-round pick, he played a lot in college. He had a lot of production success. I'm expecting him to come in and be a factor right away. Like, I'd like to see him have 800 yards this season. I don't think that's unfair.
I don't think it might be a little high. I'd be thrilled if he had 800 yards.
Yeah.
Look, I'd take 600 yards to be honest. But Bull, that's a point that you bring up because look at the teams that have been willing to divorce themselves. The Browns are one of them.
Yeah.
They could have kept Jarvis Landry, and I think 5 years ago they would have said, look, it's the guy you know versus the guy you don't.
Right.
We'll overpay for him. But look at the teams in the last 2 years that have willingly parted with top-tier wide receivers.
Yeah.
But they're saying, look, those balls will be there for this rookie. They're going to go out. They draft almost a prototypical sized player, and they bring that player in. Tennessee did that. They let a great receiver go.
And we'll see if it pans out.
That's the
Right?
question.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the philosophy here is plug and play. We can put a similar sized player with a similar skill set into this offense, target him as many times, and we're going to get close to the same production for a lot less money. A rookie or a receiver on a rookie contract compared to a rookie that's looking for that big second deal.
Yeah.
Huge
Well, think
savings.
about it. A.J. Brown, who you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams got traded.
Right.
Tyreek Hill got traded.
Amari Cooper, guys.
Amari Cooper got traded. You
Jarvis
just mentioned
Landry.
Jarvis, right? And I think I'm forgetting another guy.
There are other guys.
There are other guys. I mean, there were a lot of big name wide receivers. that
Debo
changed teams.
Samuels might look like he might get moved.
He's trying to get
Seattle.
DK Metcalf.
Metcalf
Might.
is another one.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
I think to your point of the valuation of the receiver, because these guys are coming out of college like Chase and others and having huge rookie seasons, now it's a copycat league.
Yep.
Teams are saying, okay, we're not going to pay our big money to a second contract receiver. We're just going to go try to find gold again in the draft.
Right. You talk about economics of the game now, right? Because the wide receiver basically has now almost become like the running back, right?
A little bit.
They're interchangeable, right?
No one thought Jarvis would be making $6 million this
and
year.
I'm not going to overpay for it, right? I'm gonna pay,
Especially once they're in their late 20s.
Right, I'm gonna pay for other things, right?
Jarvis is
and
30.
I can go get Olave or Garrett Wilson at Ohio State. Take my chances.
Speaking of Olave, look at the receiving core now in New Orleans. Like, I hope it works out for Jarvis.
If Michael Thomas comes back, he hasn't played the last 2
No,
years.
I know, but he's expected to come back and play, and he'll be a contributor. And you've got Olave, and you've got Jarvis, who's excited about a homecoming. He's from just outside New Orleans. Of course, went to college at LSU. That's a pretty solid receiving core for the New Orleans Saints.
Not to mention Alvin Kamara, who's a great
catches balls out of the backfield.
Well, we just need to figure out whether or not you have a quarterback.
Right.
Jameis Winston, hey, bro, you got all the pieces you need.
Yeah.
And when we
It's time.
when we talk about this thing right here, this is the holy grail, right? This is where we've all talked about the Browns should get. Remember before we talked about how people used to come here and that we call them steak eaters. They come in, all they were trying to do is stay in nice hotels, eat up all the pregame meals, and you're not doing nothing. Dwayne Bowes of the world. Well, guess what? Now the Browns they're moving on from these type guys. They're not overpaying guys. They're looking to develop some of the younger guys. So this is where everybody thought that the second step of being a perennial contender is developing some of these lower tier guys and seeing if you can find a diamond in the rough.
Guys, on a semi-related note, I'm glad we're not spending this time breaking down minicamp. People spend so much time. What did you learn in minicamp?
Yeah,
But
meaningless.
you don't learn anything in minicamp. Well, it's a bunch of rookies practicing against other rookies. You're not learning anything.
No, you don't know anything. We're not going to know anything until probably second game of the preseason when they get a lot of playing time. We'll be able to look at these guys and say, yeah, they passed the look test. No, they don't. There were guys in training camps past where we looked at and said, these guys are going to be superstars.
Oh, yeah.
Mac Wilson comes to mind. I remember his first preseason game. I think he had a couple of picks. He looked like he was all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that
There's
return
a guy that just never
who was-
developed.
Looked like
the
Ray
return
Lewis.
guy who was a homeless guy. Remember that guy became a big story for
Andy
I forgot his name.
Andy ran the kickback.
Yeah, right? Everybody
Yeah.
was going bananas. He was being interviewed all over the country.
Hey, man,
You have to keep in mind who they're doing it against.
Yes. And in Cleveland, of course, in training camp, the fans always become obsessed with one random white receiver that never
has
makes
to
the
happen.
team. And the fans go, how did he not make the team? And then he's playing in the CFL 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it's pretty easy how he didn't make the team. He's not any good.
Yeah, right.
Hey, he's just he's a steady receiver.
First guy in, last
Solid.
guy out.
Just comes to work and does his job.
Solid.
Always pale kind of guy.
Always
Everyone
seems
loves
to
that.
be open. What? No, that's Cooper Kupp. By the way,
Cooper Kupp is always
just
open.
because Cooper Kupp is white don't mean he's not really good. He's like a top 5 receiver.
He's
Don't,
a bad
No,
man.
Cooper Kupp might be the best receiver
my
in football.
God.
Put some respect on his name. They think he's a slot guy. No,
No, I don't think so. He's a star.
I think, and Cooper's proved it over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know
absolutely.
if there's anybody that's caught as many balls
Absolutely.
than Cooper Kupp.
he's great.
So if we have to give this a thumbs up, so basically
Yeah.
the trade out is you let Jarvis go. You would have paid him probably $10 million was the report that they offered him in the ballpark of $10 million. Guys, I think this is 2 thumbs up because I think they dodged a bullet. Jarvis does bring some more things to the table, but at a $10 million price tag, it limits what you can do in other places. I think this is a home run move, what we know about it right now. Do you agree?
I agree. Jadeveon Clowney, we got about $4 more million than we had before, big dog.
Right.
Your boy didn't take it. Come on and get this money off the table. Come on now.
Come on, eat.
You like the move?
I like it because Jarvis was due to get $16 million, right? It was 16, right?
Yeah.
Right, 16, and he takes
He
6.
took a $10 million pay
takes
cut,
6
guys.
in New Orleans, and now there's 10 to play with. So we were going to pay him 16. We pay him 10. So it's another 4 that you can throw to Clowney or someone else, right? It's about moving the number.
Home run move for you, Bull?
No, I like Bell. I like the potential. I still would have wanted to see Jarvis Landry come back. If I could have gotten him back for $6 million for that same price, I would have liked to see him here. Maybe, I guess in the end that wasn't possible.
Yeah.
It's still disappointing. I still think he's a veteran presence that they could use in that room. It's a very inexperienced room outside
Amari's
of Amari
not that
Cooper.
guy to you?
I just don't think he's the leader type of guy like Jarvis Landry is. We'll see. He's going to need to be.
Yeah, there were folks silently whispering last year, is Jarvis the clubhouse guy we thought he was? Remember how he went
were some rumblings
completely
about
off
that.
the radar after they
Late
cut
in the
OBJ?
season, he wasn't
Well,
talking
after
anymore.
they cut OBJ, he was out, and his silence was kind of deafening. Okay, we
Fair.
know where he is.
Fair.
So there were some that were questioning from the outside. I think for Jarvis, it's a good play. He's making a 1-year bet on himself.
Right.
If he comes back and has the kind of year that he's had before, then he's due to make more money with a longer-term deal.
Right.
But I think the NFL has moved on from these super mega
No
deals
doubt.
for wide receivers. I think they've figured out a way to save money and not have a huge step back.
On the other hand, if Jarvis has a bad year and is hurt again, he might be out of the league by next year.
Yeah,
happens.
it won't
It
help him
happens
at
that
all.
way.
If he doesn't have a highly productive year, it might be the end for Jarvis Landry. All right, let's go to something that we're going from professional sports to high school sports. We don't usually make this turn. But guys, today is a very big day in the state of Ohio when it comes to Ohio high school athletes being able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. It's known as the NIL. Of course, college football now has had it for the last year. There are a lot of folks that believe it was a disaster at the collegiate level. In fact, it seems like every day another coach is coming out against it. Recently, Deion Sanders said this is a huge problem moving forward. They just say it's the wild, wild west, and there needs to be parameters. At the end of yesterday, voting for a 2-week period was open to all Ohio High School Athletic Association principals. I think that's 817. They need 409 to ratify this. It's expected to pass. If it passes, guys, it goes into effect today. It goes into effect immediately, and that means any high school athlete in the state of Ohio can monetize their name, image, or likeness. Right. What are your overall thoughts on this, just to start?
I hope they don't screw this up like they did in college, right? The NCAA, now they're like, guys, by the way, how ironic is it that Deion Sanders, who monetized everything his whole career, is complaining about this? It's ridiculous. But just like with college players, if somebody is willing to pay you and you're a high school athlete, you should be able to get the money. There should be no restrictions on that. And if the Ohio High School Association doesn't get behind that now, it's gonna pass anyway in the courts, just like it did with college. Yeah. So they need to get ahead of it like college did not. Hopefully they'll do the right thing and vote yes.
Brad, what do you think of this?
Well, I'm like this. There has to be rules and parameters to everything.
That's why you got to vote yes, so you have those.
You cannot go wild, wild west out here, right? And I'm a guy that's a capitalistic guy, right? But there has to be some rules in play. The NIL is basically like the transfer portal. I mean, this is just some foolishness created by the NCAA and the fallout from that, right? It all comes out of basically this, right? There's a tremendous amount of money being made out here, right, at the college level, right? Mm-hmm. And some of it should trickle down to the high school kids because some of them can't be monetized. I can 97% of those kids not going to see a dime, right?
Actually, it's expected that less than 1%
see a dime.
In college, it's less than 2%.
Now, LeBron James came around in high school. Yeah, he was seeing okay.
There shouldn't be any restrictions.
So you have to account for that person, right? But you cannot let this thing run around here rampant without any rules at all because, again, I would just keep saying, that nobody shows anybody the books. How much are you actually making here? Because I want to know. I'm Ohio State guy. How much you making over here, Ohio State? Michigan, how much you making? ND, how much you making?
Yeah.
All right. And then let's take that number, compare it to the scholarship number, right? And you'll see a huge chasm out here, right? And so the workforce is getting what? So now they create these little runoff programs, NIL. You don't like it, transfer portal, go here, right? This is trying to even the score for the kids as much as possible.
It's almost like in trying to solve one problem, because there was a problem. I mean,
there was no question there was a problem.
We saw a lot of those with Ohio State football players, guys that just paid too steep of a price for trading a ring or getting a tattoo. It was just unbelievable. So there was a problem, but in reading some of the different complaints from the college coaches, they've just fixed one problem but added 3 new ones to the mix.
See, my perspective is, if you don't have any infrastructure, right? Coaches think that the only thing they do is coach. That's not what you're supposed to do. Coaches are mentors to young people. So that includes, hey, that kid over here he's not going to the pros. How you helping them get a job afterwards?
Right.
Do you got any programs for people that suffer from depression, suffer from not getting a degree? Do you have any infrastructure where you can say, hey, look, we got an academic advisor over here. We got all these extensive boosters, all this different stuff that people are donating millions to the school, but yet and still, we got guys that can't get jobs. We got guys that's working at McDonald's. We got guys that didn't even get a degree. When there's no infrastructure and you don't have that, what I call the Wild Wild West is when you get done playing football and nobody calls you. You can't get a coach on the line. That's the Wild West, and you got to go out here and put you trying to find resumes, you trying to get references, and all you do is like, hey, I took the classes they told me to take.
Yeah.
I took gym classes, and they're like, well, they're cutting gym classes.
Yeah.
When the last time? So my thing is this. The NCAA and high schools, you have a duty to young people. Get them a job, make sure you work with them, and let them know their career is coming to an end and it's inevitable. The NIL money is here to help a specific amount of people, and there is only going to be 1 or 2 guys, C.J. Stroud, guys that are quarterbacks. But the rest of your team, the predominantly rest of these guys, they're going to hit the workforce. So what are you doing to prepare them to get that check?
So let me ask you a question. You think Ohio State is happy about C.J. Stroud getting an NIL deal?
No.
On the surface, they say they are, but I don't think they are.
They want all the money for
They're not,
themselves.
because you're undercutting the program. That's what you're doing.
Right.
Again, I would say it again. What are the books? What's your intake here, right? Because here, show it to me, right? And then make your case, right? And so this is the problem, G, right? And then to your other point here, school has to prepare people for beyond this game here. What are you doing? Some institutions, universities, they don't prepare you for nothing. You on your own, right? Good luck, bruh, after the end. Good luck.
But part of the one concern about the Wild West, if you call it, for NIL, college and high school, that I'm concerned about for the players is them getting, because they're 18, 19 years old, all of a sudden maybe some of these guys have an opportunity to make some real money. Mm-hmm. And then there's some shady characters out there. Hey, I'll get you this gig, but you got to sign this contract. All of a sudden, this guy who could monetize his own name, now he's paying 80% to this guy because he didn't know any better.
Well, that's part of the concern at the collegiate level. Because there's no oversight board, the coaches are saying they're seeing players signing deals that, they're making money, but there are other people making more money off their name,
Shouldn't be that way.
and that should never happen.
Because the people making the money are making the money. They're not looking out for the kid, right? They don't have the guardrails. They don't have the guardrails in place. They don't have the guardrails in place to keep the shady dude from coming into the scene, right? And so you're on your own.
Do you know the best way to teach people how to manage money? Give them money. It starts with your parents giving you an allowance.
So you're not worried about the shady characters. They got to deal with them themselves.
Well, no. The university needs to put someone in place to say any deal you get, bring it to us.
Okay, that's university. They can do that. They have the resources. What about high school?
Yeah,
bring them to it.
What about these small high schools that might not have resources?
They got guidance counselors, don't they?
Some do, some don't.
Guidance. This is my thing.
This is why you're on a slippery slope. That's why you're on a slippery slope.
But the answer is not to allow the opposite.
You go to a high school place like a big high school town like Steubenville, Ohio, the Big Red, right? Mm-hmm. Some of them players down there are going to, because they have a big following there.
Yes.
Right? So you can see NIL, you can see the whole NIL deal. And I'm not singling out Steubenville. I only was singling out because Warrensville went down there and got killed one day when I was in high school.
No, they have a legitimate football program with money behind it.
Right, yes.
So does Massillon has the same thing. There are a lot of programs in the state that have that. Yeah. My thing is, and this will give us an opportunity to tease tomorrow's show a little bit, Maurice Claret, who is really almost the poster child for how your life can go completely off the rails if you tried to monetize your name, image, and likeness in a previous life. Back in the old days of the NCAA when you couldn't do that. His life, unfortunately for him, spiraled out of control. He left Ohio State after the year because he couldn't come back and play there. He sued the NFL for early admittance, won. It was overturned at the appellate level. So he had to sit around for 2 years and wait for his opportunity to go pro. But in the meantime, his life took a drastic turn south. He's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to talk about some of these pitfalls.
Yep.
He's a very thoughtful guy. I think he's going to have some interesting insight on how maybe we best make this work. Because, again, we're only talking about probably in Ohio, maybe 50 to 100 guys, maybe more. College football stars that are already signed to go to Ohio State, Big Ten programs, and then your blue chip Big Ten or NCAA basketball players. Those are the guys that right now they're thinking are going to really be able to monetize this, some of them to six-figure deals in high school. Currently, 9 states have it. 11 have proposals on the books. So we could have very shortly 20 states of the 50 that have it. But to your point, Adam, it's coming. It will likely get support of the courts. So it's best that you put some rules in place.
Get ahead of it.
And get the guidelines and the structure there so you don't have the problems at the high school level like they're having collegiately. Because the one thing that's interesting about the opposition to this collegiately, you've got many of the blue blood program coaches are saying they hate it. And now you've got a guy, Deion Sanders, who's at Jackson State. You'd think that he would be all for this. He is not. He says the Big Ten or the NCAA has a mammoth problem coming its way with the NIL. So they better figure out a way to fix it. All right, from that we go to baseball now, and what the hell is wrong with Aaron Civale? Guys, here's a guy last year looked like he could be the next to win a Cy Young Award with the Guardians. We know that they've done a terrific job developing pitchers. He was 12-5 last year. He had terrific stuff. This year, he's got an ERA just south of 10. He's 1-3, I believe, right now. He got tagged by the Twins. He gave up 2 first-inning home runs. Settled in the middle innings and looked okay, but then in the 5th, he looked like the same guy he was in the 1st, missing his spots, giving up key hits. I think he gave up 6 earned in less than 5 full innings of work. What are they going to do with Aaron Civale? He's scheduled to start against the Tigers this coming week.
Guys, now's the time. I just tweeted about it over the weekend. Aaron Civale is killing the Guardians, okay? You know, the offense has been way better than expected. And the pitching has been a disappointment. But, you know, Plesac hasn't been great. Bieber's been, outside of 1 or 2 starts, has been pretty good. Tristan McKenzie pitched another great game yesterday. Quantrill's been all right. But Civale's been awful. And this is not just this season. This goes back to the middle of last year when they started catching guys for doctoring up the baseballs. There's a terrible stat in baseball, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's called quality starts. 6 innings, 3 runs or less. I think it's a bad stat because if you give up 3 runs in 6 innings, that's not, to me, a quality start, but okay. I'll even make it easier for Civale. He's only had 2 starts since the middle of June last year where he's gone 5 or more innings, only 5, and given up 3 runs or less. Only 2 of those starts out of his last 14 or 15, something like that. He is lost in the soup right now. He needs to go back to AAA and kind of work with some coaches down there where if they lose and he pitches terribly, it doesn't matter. It's AAA. Who cares if you win? Peyton Battlefield is a top 30 prospect for the Guardians. He's been pitching great.
The kid they brought up from AA last week had a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. But Battlefield I think he's ready. You know, this year he was probably going to come up at some point anyway. He's been very consistent down in Columbus. I know it's a big step up to the majors. I think he's only had 1 bad start all year in Columbus. I think his ERA is like 250, something like that. And again, he's not out of nowhere because he's a top 25, 30 prospect, depending on where you look. I'd like to see them call him up, give him a shot. You know, I got to figure out I don't know exactly where he is in his rotation at the moment. But Civale's got to go down. He needs a reset. He is killing the team. We can't keep doing this.
Overall, I'm going to say this. I'm not just worried about Civale. Look, the strength of this team has been, always will be, pitching, right? Look at this year. Look at these numbers. 4.18 ERA, that's 25th in Major League Baseball. 34 home runs allowed, 19th. 263 strikeouts, that's 24th. Like, so, you know, we thought going into this season, it was going to be Bieber, it's going to be Plesac, Civale. No. It's been hitting and timely hitting and power hitting, which is the exact opposite of what we thought it would be. And this just goes to show you, Pitching, and especially the bullpen, is year to year. It's like in football saying, hey, we got a lot of turnovers last year. Well, you're not guaranteed to get turnovers next year.
I do think they'll bounce back, G, but one concern to your point, you mentioned the strikeouts there. Quantrill and Plesac are not striking people out at all. I mean, Bieber is, and
Staff's
McKenzie
velocity across the board is down.
Way down. We talked about it, I think, in our practice session a couple of weeks ago. Even Bieber, right? All these guys are way. The only one who's not
Bieber looked pretty good against Minnesota.
He did,
in his last
and he's
start.
fine. He had the one really bad start. He'll be fine. And McKenzie's been phenomenal. He pitched great again this week. But the rest of the staff, I'm nervous about.
So to the point where the Bulls talking about Civale, when you are in a rut, you got to get back to the laboratory. And you cannot do that at the top tier. You got to step back.
I'm gonna take the other side though, and here's why, Bull. I agree with you. He's clearly something is wrong.
Yeah.
Last year when Bieber started falling off, I started telling people he's hurt. I don't know what it is, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
Because you could just watch his stuff. He wasn't the same guy. I feel the same way with Civale this year. I'm almost wondering if it's not going to come out that he's got a shoulder or an elbow. Something is wrong with him, and I'm not convinced yet that it's up here.
Okay.
I do know that if you send him down, now you're taking the building blocks of his confidence up here and you're shattering that. Detroit is a team that a pitcher can get healthy against. I'd like to see him make this start against Detroit, and then I'm going to make a decision. If he gives me 6 strong innings and allows 2 earned runs and the strikeouts are back, and more importantly, his location. What I think has been lacking for him has been his location. Yeah. He's missing on spots. You can just carry the ball to home plate and you couldn't put it in a better spot for the hitter. So I know that he's not himself. I don't know that it's not an injury, but I'll find out in his next start against Detroit.
When I say send you back to the laboratory, it's not as punishment. It is so we can work on the mechanics.
We've seen guys get helped.
Somebody has to hone in on you.
But
and I don't care if it's your jump shot, your golf swing, or I don't care what it is. You have to get fixed.
But in Carl Willis, he's got a guy who's proven
but you cannot get fixed at the top level sometimes.
It's hard.
You got to step away. You got to step back.
You got better coaches at the top level.
We kind of talked about the velocity overall for the whole staff. You guys are baseball guys. Yeah. Is it because they didn't ramp them up properly, or is it because maybe you didn't have the spring training that you had this year?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
I don't know for sure, but every team was in the same spot.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not an excuse. And McKenzie's the one guy whose velocity is not down.
Yeah, but McKenzie's such a freak.
And he's young.
I mean, he's like 6'4", 160 pounds. He's got such great whip on his fastball. He's got electric stuff. I'm not worried about him. But with Civale, I just want to it's whenever a pitcher gets old too fast.
Right.
That can't be. Me? Like this guy is he's 27 years old, I think.
What does that mean, Jay?
Old too fast.
You've seen it before. You sent me a tweet I was fascinated by. You sent me a text over the weekend that you said Danny Salazar has signed with the Indians. There's a guy with the Yankees.
Minor league contract.
There's a guy that I thought Salazar was going to be a Cy Young quality pitcher.
Remember he pitched that wild card game against Tampa?
Oh my God, he was unbelievable.
He was phenomenal that night.
And then all of a sudden he got old. But you're looking at it going, he got old too fast. What happened? What happened? And sometimes it's the wear and tear of too many innings in too short a period of time. I don't know what it is with Civale, but I can't think that this guy is old that fast. He's 27, and he was great. I know you said the second half he was not good, but first half he was great. Here's what my biggest fear. We know that guys were playing around with a substance they shouldn't have been using. It made good pitchers great. It made great pitchers almost unhittable.
We should have started with this.
It's kind of like steroids. It's kind of like steroids. You know, Bonds had a pretty good ball of clay to work with. You give him an illegal substance that improves performance, and now he's all-time Herculean great. Right. So I'm wondering, I'm not accusing, I'm just wondering. So many guys were using it. I'm wondering if we're going to now see guys drop off from what they were with it to what they have to be now without it.
I think some will. I think part of it for some of these guys is just adjusting to not using it. And some guys are going to take longer, right? It's just like a pitcher who later in his career, Jay, you would know about this as a pitcher yourself. When you get older, you lose your velocity, right?
Sure.
And some pitchers can change the way they pitch and still be successful. Look at one of our favorites here in Cleveland, CC Sabathia, right?
Yeah.
He lived on his velocity. And then for a couple of years, it looked like he was going to be out of baseball because he was struggling and couldn't figure it out. And then late in his career with the Yankees, he figured it out again how to pitch differently, and he pitched great. Right. And that probably got him. That probably get him in the Hall of Fame.
You probably don't remember Frank Tanana, do you?
Of course I do.
Frank
Tigers.
Tanana was a baller. Okay,
Yeah.
he was with the Angels and Nolan Ryan. He used to throw in the high 90s.
Yeah.
When he lost that velocity, he had to learn secondary pitches.
Some guys can't do it.
And he completely reinvented himself. It's almost like the golfer who forever hung his hat on his driving prowess and then couldn't drive like he. Now he's got to improve his short game. And a lot of guys, if you can't change and adapt, you're not here for long. And so we'll see whether or not Civale can do that. We are going to
read some mean tweets.
Mean tweets.
This
okay.
is something that we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
For a few days.
Yes.
And
We want to read the detractors. Right?
5 mean tweets from the
This will be fun.
internet.
Yeah. This is going to be
The
good.
internet hates us.
The internet hates us.
So without further ado, here's Adam the Bull. Take it away, Bull.
Thank you, guys. Let's start. This is from one of my favorite people on Twitter, Explodio Jones. Who doesn't love a good tweet?
There's an interesting name.
Explodio Jones. He says, this was in reference to the tweet that Mike put out on Friday saying, hey, we made it through a week, we didn't get canceled.
That's big
Which
success.
is great, right?
Yeah.
So Explodio says, congrats on not getting canceled from your free YouTube show. You're in the big leagues now with the likes of 4-year-olds playing with My Little Ponies. See you at the Emmys.
You know, my question is, where can I see Explodio's show? Where does that?
Yeah, Explodio. Where's your podcast?
Where is that show? I mean, it must be on pay TV, right?
Yes.
There must be a paywall, and he's making huge coin doing shows.
$19.99 per show. That's how popular Explodio is. He's exploding all over Cleveland.
He's huge, this Explodio guy. What else you got?
Okay, this is from The Real TM. I guess that's Team. I don't know. Doesn't want to put his name on there. Agreed. This looks like low budget and filmed in the basement of someone's house.
It is in the basement,
It's
actually.
a KYC.
It's
a
a KYC
upgrade from my
basement.
house.
You couldn't afford this set, buddy.
I don't
You're
know.
living in your grandma's basement, pal.
Can we throw that back up there? His Twitter pic, just based on his Twitter picture, he looks like a guy with extreme taste and class.
I mean, look,
right?
Go back to
this
it.
is studio.
Look at him.
We got rafters up here and everything. Like,
Where are you working at? Checkers? Is that what that is?
What's the matter with you, Real TM one? What does that even mean? Real Team One? Real?
We take these all with a grain of salt, right? Everybody, we know we know the saying.
Yeah.
Opinions are like
Yeah.
body parts. Everyone has one.
Exactly.
And we listen to them.
Absolutely.
We listen to them.
They're funny.
We laugh at them, but we listen to them. What else you have?
All right, this is from Brad Johnson, apparently the former NFL quarterback.
Won a
chiming
Super
in.
Bowl with the Buccaneers.
And he's got Bob Knight as a picture.
This guy's so confused on who he
Bogey
is.
Knight. And he spelled Knight wrong. He says Aaron Civale and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show both need sent down.
Where would they send us down to?
we're already on the. We're
We're
already
already
on the
in
free
for
YouTube.
like where 4-year-old kids do videos.
We free to
I
on
mean-
YouTube. What we gonna do? Where we going from here? Ain't nowhere to go but from like we gonna do it on our
We
phones.
go to a different TV channel? I
That's
don't know.
it.
Hey, we
I
gonna
guess
do it on
that's
our
it.
phones. I'm gonna go and then you go.
Are we going to be on
That sounds like a hell of a show.
And then
Lifetime
you go.
Network, baby?
Look at
We
the picture
TV?
he used. He's Bob Knight.
Are they going to send us to the Oprah channel? What's happening?
Sure.
Come on.
Hey, by the way, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
The OWN, by the way, we have to be better than OWN channel. Like OWN has like 4.5
That's not
shows.
even in high def, man.
It's 4.5
I don't think that's in
shows,
high def.
and one of them is Oprah's show. Like
Yeah.
she has no content. I'm like, you couldn't have got nobody else on there. It's her and y'all saved my life.
Hey, maybe if we get sent down, then we can do it on the own
Yada.
network.
Yes.
Would that be considered
That
being
would be
sent
it.
down, or is that a move up?
We'd have to change the topics, though.
But
Definitely.
Listen,
Yeah.
by the way, if we go to Oprah, heck yeah, that's a move up. I don't care what nobody on that
Oprah.
say.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Oprah's
I take them all for
serious
watching.
rich.
Yeah.
All right, you got more hate?
I got two more. This is from Chile in Arizona, which is tricky. I mean, I don't think you beat Chile in Arizona, but how does one afford a nice studio but can't afford to fill it with talent?
Well, simply, this is WKYC's studio.
Right.
By the way, have you guys seen a nicer television facility than KYC's?
It's beautiful.
It's unbelievable.
So he's in Arizona?
He's
Yeah.
saying we're not talented.
Oh,
He's
well,
saying we are all lacking
here.
talent.
After,
That's what he's saying.
after last night, he has his own problems in Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, a complete meltdown
Oh my God, the Suns
I
losing
know.
by 100.
for the nation
unbelievable.
for the nation to see.
Yeah.
You got your own problems
What
in
the
Arizona.
hell happened to CP3?
He,
My goodness.
he old.
You talk about getting old overnight.
He just
Get
woke.
it done.
The-
All right,
like
got
that.
one more, fellas.
One more. Let's go.
From Doc John 76. You think this guy's if this guy's an actual doctor, can't he put a picture up instead of having? I call it an egg because it used to be an egg. Remember when you didn't put a thing in there?
Now it's just.
Yeah,
What
this
is
is
that?
the skeleton, I
silhouette.
guess, with no neck. You have your necklace. Sorry, but you should have stayed. This is for me specifically. Sorry, but you should have stayed on radio. TV's not your shtick. You have a radio face. Good luck. Don't think your show will work. Hey, John, bleep you, pal. Look at that beautiful face.
You know, look
Look at that. All right, I got a little.
How can a guy who doesn't put a picture on his profile
Talk about someone's face.
insult someone's face?
Exactly. So I'm fat. Okay, I can lose weight. You'll always be a jerk, John.
Hey, y'all
Or
should-
Doc, whatever your name is.
Y'all should have been killing me. Y'all should have been saying stuff about G. Bush, man. All I got is that little cheap belt. Listen, these dudes.
You got cool shoes, though.
These dudes go home, they rich. They rich as hell. Like, you think they be worried about y'all? Like, let me get in my new car. I'm like, you just got another one? I'm looking around like, this crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna just hang out, bro. I got the belt. That's what makes
That's it.
All right, we're going to jump out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Chris Holtmann from the Ohio State Buckeyes are in. I can't wait to hear Brad talk serious OSU Buckeye hoops with this guy who's coming off a great recruiting class. 5 years in, so far, so good. Chris Holtmann joins us next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show after this quick timeout. Stay with us.
Hey, we need to tell him, ask him about NIL.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajay Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3. Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life.
Okay.
One of the reasons Mikey McNuggets is one of the best producers in the history of producing. Mikey, tell the audience what you just told us to do. Chris Holtmann's our guest. He's in the process of linking up. So we're going to stretch a little bit in the business. It's, like this, stretch it out. Mikey, what was your advice to us?
Just talk about sports. We got to fill a couple minutes. That's what you guys get paid to do, so
Yeah.
do what we're paying
I
to
said,
do.
where do you want us to go? You want us to go good bet, bad bet? What do you
Yeah.
want us to do? He goes, just talk about sports.
Well, we were talking during the break about the Mavs and the Suns.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
talking about Jason Tatum versus Luka Doncic. And
Yeah.
what I would say, you said Jason Tatum's the best player right now. I was talking with these guys earlier. In that game yesterday between the Celtics and the Bucks, it felt like every time Jason Tatum touched the ball, the entire Bucks team panicked and was running towards him, and then he was finding the open man.
Killed him.
And the
Yeah.
fact that Grant Williams, who had never led the Celtics in scoring ever, leads them in scoring to win a Game 7 over the defending NBA champs, they're a good
That was
team.
what they did is the most impressive thing I've seen so far in the postseason. Because I just thought Milwaukee was going to win the series. I really did.
No, I kind of disagree. I think the most impressive thing was seeing Dallas come out and take down
that was
Phoenix.
stunning.
Now I'm gonna tell you. So you talk about
insane.
Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic is by far the best freaking player left here. By far.
There might not be a debate.
I like this thing. I mean, the way he dissected Phoenix yesterday, and if you didn't pay attention, the way they were doing it was basically like they were looking for matchups on the floor. So the matchup they wanted, they made that guy come, put him in the pick and roll, so the other guy would have to switch, and then Dodge went to work. And I was like, this is crazy.
He's a guy that got a skill. I haven't seen nobody with that skill set, with that body type. Yeah. He's like my size. Like, he's just getting to his spots. His step back look like it's too slow, but it goes in every time. He gets to where he wants off the pick and roll. I mean, for me, I've never seen another person play like that.
So Mikal Bridges, who was almost won the Defensive Player of the Year, was abused yesterday.
Killer.
Abused. And I said, I don't see this changing, right? Who in Golden State is going to stop him? Nobody's going to stop him.
I hope you're right, because I can't stand Golden State. I want any of the other teams to win.
Yeah, well, I think we concur on that. Yeah. What's your finals matchup? Who do you have?
So at this point, I'm going Dallas, right? Just the way they're playing. I got Dallas and I got Boston going.
Yeah, that's
right?
who I
That's
want.
what I got.
That's what I want. Yeah. I'm afraid it's going to be Boston Golden State.
I think Boston-Miami's a fun series, though. Those are two, well-coached teams. They're well-balanced teams. Like, when you think of team, I really think of, Boston and Miami.
Do you think Miami can beat Boston?
I do. I'm picking Boston, but I think it's a good series.
Are you picking Boston, too?
Yeah, I got Boston.
So we all four have Boston.
Yeah. Oh.
Bro, that's a rookie mistake.
and this is a phone.
The ringer is on.
Hey, it's account services. Yeah, I can't pay you now.
Account services. You know what? Take it just for fun. Let us hear it.
You want to hear it?
Play with them. Play with them.
Yeah.
Put them on speaker.
Are we allowed to do that?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, is this Garrett?
Yes, this is Garrett. Uh-oh.
Hey, Garrett, my name is Bo. I'm with Nations Lending. How are you today?
Oh, are you guys gonna give me a loan?
So it looks like somebody was looking for they requested for a pre-approval. Yeah, and that would eventually.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, if you can give me at the 5% I was looking for, that's great, man. I'll take that, man.
Gotcha. So now basically what I would need to do is make a file for you. So I would have to collect some information. And once I do that, I would go ahead and work on it. And
they want that info.
So
if I start giving you social security numbers.
Yeah. Do I have to give my social up?
When was the last time you had your credit ran?
Ooh, I was at Walmart the other day. You know how they be trying to sign you up for them credit cards? They just I couldn't. I told them, I said, I already got too many credit cards. But I wanted the free T-shirt though. They was giving out these T-shirts. It was nice though.
I would have took it too. With the actual application itself, yeah, they are going to ask for your social, and that is in order to run your credit.
Okay.
See what your credit asks. They need you over a 580 credit score.
Oh, well, see, mine, the way my checking and savings is set up, I got a fluctuating credit score. So it go up sometime and then come back down. It was like 625 at one time, but then something happened overnight. I wanted a big screen. I think the Renter Center people put a hold on my credit or something. It was crazy.
So currently, are you over 580?
Oh my God. Can you combine your scores with your wife's? If you got
composite.
So if I got 300 and then I got 400, that's 700.
This is hilarious. This is hilarious.
We're gonna want a 580 at least for one person. Over 580 that you guys can do it together.
Well, I gotta call her, see what she's doing, because I definitely need that. We need that. Well, I got, brother. I'm actually in the middle of taping a TV show. So what I can do is I can get back to you though. It's called the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Check it out. Subscribe on YouTube. It's really nice. Co-workers.
Sure, we'll do.
Hey, do you know Adam the Bull?
On Instagram?
Yeah. Adam the Bull, Jay Crawford. I know you know Jay Crawford. Jay Crawford used to be on Cold Pizza.
Why do I feel like I've seen the would name Adam the Bull before.
Adam the Bull, he's famous. He's really famous.
I can lend you some credit report points.
Yeah, listen, he said, I got a cosigner now.
I'll throw you in 52.
I got a cosigner now.
Brad's
I'm
good for 50.
Look, we good. Hey, the mayor's with me too, so I appreciate you, dog.
This is my number, though. If you ever need me, you can call me directly. Okay?
All right, I appreciate you, man.
Sayonara.
All right.
My favorite is, can I combine my credit score with my wife's?
No.
How often do you get those calls?
Jay. He said,
my
this
God.
thing fluctuates. It go up and it go down.
You know, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You know what? This will be the hardest left turn in the history of YouTube shows. From a live account services call to the head basketball coach at the Ohio State University, coming off a 22-12 season. 5 seasons at Ohio State. All 5 of his seasons, guys, had at least 20 wins. He's just the second coach in Ohio State history to do that. Thad Matta was the first. Coach Holtmann, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Great to be with you guys.
It's great to have you on, Coach. Good to see you.
Coach.
I'm going to let Brad Sellers start because he is our Ohio State basketball guru. He's our basketball guru. Who am I kidding? And he's anxious to talk to you, so go ahead.
Coach, I'm going full scale Ohio State here. My hat first, jersey, right? I know you're holding down. I'm holding down the fort in Cleveland up here for you, right? How you doing?
Yes. I'm doing good, Brad. I'm doing good. It's great to see you, man. It's great to see you.
You getting us prepared to resurgence to the top?
Yeah, absolutely. We got an unbelievable class coming in, Brad. You're going to love it. It's the best in the Big Ten. It's a really good group of, there's a sweet spot right now in recruiting, as you guys know, because, you get a guy like a Malachi Branham, and he's a one and done. And and if possible, if you can find, that's great for our program, great for him. But in order to have some continuity, I think we've got some guys that we could see in Buckeye uniforms here for a few years that are coming in as freshmen.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach, because you live in a changing landscape here, right? And I know you're working in the where obviously I think one of the best universities in this country as it comes to sports. But I would tell you the way the NCAA has now structured some of the rules now, this transfer portal, this thing is crazy, right? How do you feel about this transfer portal?
Brad, I tell you, man, and your guys know that because of how well you guys cover sports. It is a really a different day and age. And Ryan Day, our football coach, we've had a lot of conversations because those that have followed college basketball know that the transfer portal has really come into effect at a high level, really the last 10, 12 years. Waivers have come into play, and you've seen a wave of college basketball transfers at a significant level, really as much as 45% of first-time freshmen end up transferring in college basketball, and you've seen that for a while. And I remember talking to Ryan in the spring, and it's just like, what football has seen across the board in college football, basketball's seen for the last few years. And it's, as much as possible, you just try to embrace the differences of our game now than it was 10 to 15 years ago. Does it bring some challenges? Sure. But we've also benefited from the transfer portal here at Ohio State. We've had some really good ones that have come through and been really good players for us.
Coach, when you look at beyond the transfer portal, obviously, and this is not a new trend, but with guys leaving after 1 year, your best players, in all the big universities leaving so often, as a coach, you develop relationships with players, obviously, but if consistently your best players leave after 1 year, how hard is it to develop the chemistry amongst the team and between you and your players?
It's the biggest challenge. Any coach will tell you right now in college basketball, as a college basketball head coach, the biggest challenge here is roster continuity, and in the midst of the transfer portal and obviously your best players, professionalizing.
Right.
And we've had since we've been here, our best players have professionalized early. Now, we had a guy like Kyle Young who was a phenomenal player for us, but wasn't necessarily a guy that could go and play in the NBA. He was here for 5 years. Right. And we were blessed to have him for 5 years. We had Justin Arns for 4 years. We're going to have another kid, Justice Suing, who was a transfer for 4 years. But like E.J. Liddell, terrific player for us, but we're only going to have him for 3 years. Malachi Branham, we're only going to have for 1 year. Dwayne Washington, who helped us get to the Big Ten championship game as a junior, we thought we were going to have him back this coming year. He goes to now this G League combine. It used to just be the NBA combine. Now it's a G League combine. Plays well there last summer, and then plays so well that he gets invited to the NBA combine. And I told him at that point, I said, hey, Dwayne, if you get invited to the NBA combine, you probably need to take a serious look at leaving. I'd love to have you back, but it may be time for you, the best decision for you and your family. So navigating all that, it's why I don't sleep any after the season gets over with. I don't sleep any during the season, but I certainly don't sleep after the season.
Tough.
Well, you know, Coach, let's add some more to your plate. You know, you already don't sleep as it is with trying to get kids to graduate. You're on the road recruiting. We just got done talking about the NIL. And NIL is something that just kind of got dropped on the NCAA. The legislation came out in California, and kind of NCAA and schools were scrambling around to figure out what's the rules, what kind of infrastructure we have. You know, can you tell me what you guys have in place now for your students to make sure that, you know, they are doing certain NIL deals and it's above board? And what sort of infrastructure and counseling do you have for students who are now in a position to earn money from the name, image, and likenesses? And what are some of the pitfalls that you coaches are seeing in terms of how to control this thing and how to, you know, best facilitate the program?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because it's really at the forefront, I think, of all of our minds. When we heard about name, image, and likeness, and you started hearing about this a couple years ago, in our minds, we kind of said, we get it. It totally makes sense. Athletes at universities should be able to profit off their own name, image, and likeness. There's too much money in college football and college basketball and in college sports in general. They should have that opportunity. I think as it really came into play here in these last few months, what we started to see is the idea of not necessarily what it was intended for, and this idea of how it impacted recruiting, both in transfer recruiting and then in high-level prospects. You know, and whether it's involvement from third parties or whatever, but the idea of, okay, hey, what opportunities can this school provide for me? And I'm not going to make a decision maybe until I know, you know, what those opportunities can and will be. And I think that's where you saw the last couple weeks, the athletic directors at major conferences get together and say, we've got to get a handle on how it's impacting the recruiting aspect of it versus how it's impacted the current student athlete. And for us, you know, E.J. Liddell, he had a deal with a bank this past year. We've had guys, Zed Key had bank deals with automobile, some auto sellers here in town. Several of our guys have gotten cars as a part of their deals and their work with local businesses. So our guys have benefited. But, you know, we really followed the leadership of Gene Smith, our athletic director here, who's the best in the country. And he's kind of given us a direction on, hey, this is what we want NIL to look like. We have Open Doors, which is a company who has takes all the deals from our athletes and helps assist them with that process. Our athletes now, some of our athletes have representation, NIL representation, that help them with this. we communicate to our athletes about, hey, you got to pay taxes on this money. So there's an education process that goes along with this, with all of our athletes. It starts as soon as they get here. So it's a lot. It's kind of a new element of this the college game.
Coach, we should know by the end of the day today whether or not Ohio high school athletes will be able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. The principals have been voting for the last 2 weeks. We're supposed to get to, we're expected we'll hear those results today because voting closed yesterday. I'm wondering your thoughts on the idea that high school athletes can now benefit because, as you know, the college basketball recruiting game is big time, and some of these players are stars on social media. What are your thoughts on that, and how will it change your job, the way you do your job?
You know, I think it's again really a really important and relevant question right now. I think that's where this is headed. Perhaps there'll be a different ruling than I would anticipate, but I could definitely see that this is where this is heading. As a matter of fact, I don't know how necessarily you stop it from heading in this direction. I just think there's going to be education required. Here's what I've said in recruiting when it comes to NIL. For us, I've told players and families, NIL can be a reason that you want to come to Ohio State, but it shouldn't be the reason. There's too many other really positive things about this place, and we have a great example right there, sitting with you guys that has benefited. There's too many other really good things that we want to communicate beyond a terrific education and a place that can benefit you well beyond just your time here. So if it's a reason, we understand that and we embrace that. We're going to lean into that and support that. If it's the reason you're choosing a place, we're probably not the place for you. You should probably choose somewhere else.
All right, Coach, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. Ohio State back at the top of the ticket, right? I know you've been working the streets, number 6 recruiting class in the country, right? You know, the Buckeye Fever faithful are behind you, right? But, you know, we want to go deep. We want to see it, right? I know you know it. So tell the folks how we getting there, right? Because I'm tired, I got to follow, I had to follow the Terrapins on the women's side, but I go to Chrysler Arena, I'm like, I walked into Michigan, they thought they had it going on. I'm like, no. Tell me how my Buckeyes getting back to the top, Coach.
Yeah, I think we've got to. So we've had 4 opportunities, 4 years here of postseason opportunities when it comes to the NCAA tournament. We've been here 5 years. We've been a single-digit seed every year. We've been ranked in the top 15 in the country all 5 years. And as you know, Brad, when we got here, the program didn't even go to the NCAA tournament or the NIT the year before. Went to the NIT 2 years before, so it was in a position where it needed to be, there needed to be some things that we built in terms of solid recruiting classes. We were able to get there our first year and win a game, as well as our second year. I think for us, while we've advanced every year, the year we were picked highest, we were actually seeded highest, we got upset. We've advanced every year. I get it. We're as hungry as anybody about taking that next step in terms of what that looks like, and not just advance into the second weekend, but beyond. I think the biggest thing for us, Brad, we got to continue to grow defensively. We have to continue to get improved length and size within our program across the board, kind of positions 1 through 5. I feel really good about the level of consistent success and being consistently good, but we're all obviously hungry for, to take that next step. And I really believe that this incoming freshman class, as they continue to grow and as we build beyond that class in the 23 class, gives us a real chance for that, Brad.
Coach, that's just to tell you, because I think Bull has a question, but I want to tell you, the day you beat Duke in Columbus, I called every Duke player I knew on the phone that night. Called it from Gene Banks on down. I was like,
Did you?
I was
love
no
it.
idea. I was waiting for that. Waiting for it.
Oh man, I love that. I wish I could have heard those calls. I wish I could have heard that. You know, one of the things, and you know this, when you're in this position, like when you celebrate, somebody said the other day, is the best part of your job? Is it beating, Duke when they're number one in the country in a sold out place? I said, the best part of my job is the people who love and care about this place doing just what you did, calling their friends, calling their buddies at other schools, the pride that they have in that. And that's why we're so hungry to obviously do what we just talked about in terms of continuing to grow this thing and advance even deeper in the tournament. Because you feel that as the head coach at a place like this, you really want to make the people who love and care about this place really proud.
And because you guys have had sustained success in the regular season, the expectations have grown, right? But the tournament is so wacky and so crazy. You never know. There's plenty of great teams every year that get knocked out early. When after you're eliminated from the NCAA tournament, do you kind of assess how you prepared the team for the tournament and say, hey, maybe we did it right, it just didn't work out? Or is it maybe we could do this differently or that differently? Is that a lot of self-evaluation at the end of the year?
Yeah, every year. And we really did when we got beat as a 2 seed. We really tried 2 years ago, we tried to really look and say, okay, granted it was in the bubble. Granted, we had just played in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis and stayed in the same hotel and couldn't go outside for about 8 days. It was odd circumstances, and we had a very significant injury. But I think every year you look at it, it was a really moving text from Jay Wright the day after he beat us. And it was, obviously I'd known Jay from our days in the Big East. And he just talked about a 7-year span in his program where they were basically a 1, 2, or 3 seed most years. 1 year they did make the tournament, but he had like a 6-year stretch where they didn't even win a game in the tournament, or they won 1 game, and then maybe 1 year where they didn't make the tournament, and then in the year 7 they broke through, and that was his first national championship. And he just said, hey, I think it was an older coach. I think maybe at that time he knew he was going to retire, but it really meant so much to me. Just how encouraging it was. And I think that's the deal. Get there as much as possible. There's been 3 teams in the Big Ten. That's it. 3 teams in the Big Ten the last 5 years that have qualified for the NCAA tournament when you include the pandemic year. It's been us and the 2 Michigan schools. That's it. So it's hard to get there, but obviously we're hungry to continue to move the needle.
Coach, you have a sign over your right shoulder there. It says Buckeye Values. What are they?
Yeah, so just things we talk about, within our program, and truth, humility, respect, thankfulness, accountability, and I almost forgot toughness. Can't forget that.
Hey, we get it. That's a lot. Those are great pillars, though, to build a program on. Why did you settle on those specifically?
As much as, I think any coach will tell you, you kind of steal some ideas from other coaches and other programs, and the ones that you really respect. And, I think for me, as you kind of grow your coaching career and you study other programs, you say, okay, hey, what do they do that has made them really, really successful? And that's what we want our program to be about. And as you guys know, your core values, they can be hung on a wall and something that just is a sign, or they can be something that you and your program really embrace. And we try to embrace. It's not to say we're perfect or our kids are perfect, but I do think there's a belief in how we want to do things. And with a new group coming in, you better believe it's going to be something we talk about here throughout the summer.
Coach, being at Ohio State, I think is sometimes a double-edged sword. We got the OG over here, Uncle Brad. He's an Old State alum. But I'll tell you what, it has to be tough being in a football school, right? Does that hit you a little bit, and irk you a little bit, no matter how consistent you are? Ohio State's been to Final Fours. Ohio State's been championship games. It's kind of like it has a tradition. Guys like Bobby Knight played basketball there. All these great names, but yet Ohio State is always in just considered a football school. And do you sometimes fight and struggle with that because of the tradition that the basketball program has too?
I've really tried to embrace it, because I'm not stopping 100 year of, Buckeye faithful and what their allegiance and loyalties are at this place. It's ingrained. It is a football blue blood, and it has been for decades. And I've really tried to just embrace it. And I remember after one of the games, my first or second year, I wore an Archie Griffin jersey, and it was my way of just saying, hey, I've embraced what this place is. And I've gotten, I got close with Urban when he was here. And I remember Urban saying, this can be a football and a basketball. And I said, come on now, Urban. We always know, we know it's going to be a football school first. It's going to be a football school first. Yeah. What happens typically at our place is, if we have big games in the non-conference, we have great enthusiasm, like Brad mentioned, the Duke game or the Villanova game from a couple years ago. But they really turn their attention to us once January rolls around. And we certainly have some – the thing I always crack up about is I know the football fans who are 90% football and 10% basketball, because when we lose one game in January and they turn their attention, they go crazy. They're like, I'm like, this isn't football, fellas. You can lose a game in college basketball.
Coach, I would say you and I have a lot in common here. You coach Ohio State basketball. I coach my son's 9- and 10-year-old Little League team. It's not that much of a difference, but I need advice. Coach, we're off to an 0-2 start. I had them running 2-a-day practices yesterday. Today we got a big game. We cannot fall to 0-3. I know it's a different sport, but what do I have to do to get these guys motivated and on the winning track? What do you think?
Well, don't panic. First of all, you're only 0-2. Don't panic.
Okay.
I was just going to say, whatever you do, don't do 2-a-days. Don't panic yet. It's early in the season. But you just did 2-a-days. Hey, you know what I say to our players all the time? I said to our players, I say, hey, players win games, and I have this deal. I say in the middle of every game, and I said it late in the Duke game. I said, hey, trust our players, trust our work. Trust our players, trust our work. So that's what I would encourage you. How many games do you have in a full season?
We got 16 in the regular season. Fortunately, everybody makes the playoffs.
That's all that matters. Get to the playoffs in a great frame of mind, and you'll be in a good spot.
There you go. All right, good advice from Coach. We're gonna get a win tonight.
Coach,
we're fired up.
Coach, really quickly, you got to tell him. Even in college, they only let you train 20 hours a week. Don't have the 9 to 10.
Restrictions.
Just restrictions. He's doing 2-a-days with the 9-year-olds, man.
We need to hit. We gotta get some swings in.
I love it. I love the passion.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Best of luck to you and the Buckeyes next season. I know you got a lot of excitement with that recruiting class. Thanks again for coming in.
Hey, Coach, stay there.
I appreciate it, guys.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Best of luck with the show. Look forward to watching.
Thanks, Coach. So we tried telling Bull on Friday that 2-a-days that's a bit much.
Yeah.
They're 9. They're 9.
He got a couple people
a couple people did the double
the first
duty.
Bull was quick to point out the first one's voluntary.
Right.
They don't have to come. How many showed up?
I actually had more people at the voluntary than the second practice.
That's a problem.
I had I said.
Did you say pick and choose?
I said to the parents, come to whichever one is more convenient.
Okay.
If you want to come to both, that's fine. We only had 3 kids at both.
And yours was one of them.
Yes, right.
Of course. So 2 others bought in.
I had one kid would have been at both, but he was actually sick, and he's supposed to be my starting pitcher tonight. I don't know if I'm not sure. I haven't heard from his mom yet to see if he's going to be able to pitch. But yeah, we had 11 or 10 out of 13 in the morning, but we only had 5 in the afternoon. But we got some good work, and the kids, The 5 afternoon kids were some kids that needed some extra hitting.
They was tired.
Got them going.
They're 9.
Got 'em going.
They're 9. Yeah. Well,
they're 10. Both
take
of them
it
are 10.
take it from Coach Holt. 2-a-days for 9 and 10-year-olds
Yeah, I
in baseball. It's a little much.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go to Mikey McNuggets. It's time for good bet, bad bet.
It
There we
is,
go.
and before we start, let's look at the standings. We didn't have games on
Oh, yeah.
Friday because we didn't have.
Well, we picked them. We
segment
just
on
didn't do them on
Friday.
the air.
Oh.
Well, look at me.
We're
Bouncing
picked,
back.
That
Wow.
means the standings stay the same. G. Bush is technically in first, but Brad at 2-0
I'm just coming
is the
in.
percentage leader. So let's get to today's picks. We have a 3-minute shot clock, guys. At 12:22, we got to be off. First bet, we're starting with G. Rays 1.5-run favorites over the Tigers tonight. Corey Kluber pitching for the Rays.
I believe I said bad bet on this. Do we got a graphic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said good bet, G.
Oh, I did?
Just not
G-
remembering what you said.
He's leading the pack,
even
and you know
know.
why? Because he's
guessing.
gone both ways on every single pick.
That's true. I think he had.
Good
You're
and
right.
bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good bet.
Good.
Kluber is he got clubbed his last time out, if I'm not mistaken. But overall this year, he's been pretty good, and I think this is a good bet.
Bull?
I got it as a bad bet. I know Detroit's been bad this year. They've been really disappointing. I thought they'd be much better. I think they're going to be a good second-half team. Well, not quite the second half, but Corey Kluber's not what he once was. I don't like laying a 1.5 unless I love the pitcher.
Yeah.
I loved Kluber back in the day, even though he was the most boring pitcher to ever interview, or one of the most. But
He still is, by the way.
Right, but he's not a great pitcher anymore. I'll take Detroit.
All right.
And for me, the guy who's running the table in the entire tournament, I'm taking a good bet here. You got to take your you got to take your bows. You got to take your bows. when you have this.
His victory lap early.
Yeah. I think you need a minimum number of plate appearances if you don't qualify.
Hey, 2-0 is 2-0. Next bet.
Yeah.
Under 7.5 runs tonight in the Twins A's game. G, start us off.
I mean, that's kind of random.
I think this is a bad bet. I put bad bet on this one.
Congrats on remembering what you
Yeah, look, that's the memory. You can't be texting me at 8 in the morning. I don't be doing this. 7.5 runs is light. That's like 3-4 runs now. That's a bad bet.
Yeah, I'm with G on that one, and I remembered my pick. It's bad bet. It was bad when I made it this morning, and it's still a bad bet.
Yeah, I don't love either pitcher going in this game, and I don't like the A's offense. It's pretty bad, but I do like the Twins offense a lot. I think they might get the over by themselves.
I thought that's exactly why I took it.
Right, you got a young pitcher for Oakland who's actually been okay, but he's about due to get blown up.
This Twins team's good.
They
I
are
mean,
very
I
good.
like them a lot this
Yeah,
weekend.
and Chris Archer's
They look
actually
good.
pitched really well for them.
He has, but
Yeah.
I think
But
I'm
not
with you.
tonight.
The Twins could get it by themselves.
Well, I took a good bet because you got the matchup, and I just like the fact that on Mondays, right, I just feel like
The hangover.
it's hard for a player on a Monday after
Yeah,
coming off a good weekend.
All right, very good. What's our last one?
By the way, I miss Guardians games or playoff basketball. It's tough to pick some random bets when there's no local game.
Yeah,
Last one.
No.
Will Aaron Judge record an RBI tonight against the Orioles? G?
That's a good bet. That's Aaron Judge, bro. Come on, man.
Aaron Judge. I'm
That's
in.
all I gotta
Good
say.
bet.
Look at what the Yankees have done against the Orioles. They've been crushing them for years. The Orioles stink. Decent. It's a good bet. I'll go with Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's a good bet because you're playing in Baltimore. It's a good atmosphere. The temperature is right, and so it's a good place to play.
It's not just look at what the Yankees have done against the Orioles. You can look at what everyone's done against the Orioles.
Aaron Judge looks like he should be playing defensive end, not baseball, right?
I know. Big
He's
cat.
a monster.
Big cat.
Hey, guys, we made it in 3 minutes.
Did we get it?
Let's clap it up for us. We
There
did.
we go.
All right, yeah,
All
way to go.
right.
We made the under.
Hey,
We
we're
made
going
the
to take
under.
a quick break.
Tremendous.
When we come back, we're doing the top 5 least likable
This
TV
better be good.
characters. And then Travis Hafner joins the show.
Yes.
Next break.
Next break.
Oh, awesome. We'll be right back. Welcome to Cleveland Sports Show.
Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the ultimate Cleveland sports show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of ODOT's
here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost. You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
Cleveland sports to me is bigger than anything. It's bigger than some people's marriages. They say the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No. Dallas is not America's team. Cleveland is America's team. And sports in Cleveland is a religion. It's a way of life. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. Sports is a way for people in Cleveland to get together, and it's something that can't be replicated in Cleveland. Sports is a thing.
We're back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Any update on your loan? Did you get it? Are you approved? Where are we?
Listen, I'm trying to. By the way, don't be getting caught up in that PPP stuff. You do got to pay that money. Don't you do it? Have you heard about the new loans coming out? No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Never give your social security number on the phone.
Yeah.
Never.
No, definitely. My man Ron Hampton on the internet says Garrett out here getting them payday loans and they calling them back. Hey, they take them payday loans immediately out. They be garnishing you. They get that money all
What's the
top.
interest rate on one of those these days?
27.5%.
See, that should be illegal. That should be illegal.
That's like a loan shark.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is like a loan shark.
Yeah.
All right,
Top five.
Mikey McNuggets, top 5, and then Travis Hafner. I can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah, as soon as Travis comes on the line, we'll cut this short and get Travis on, because whatever he's going to say is better than my top 5.
He's scheduled for 11 or 12:30, right?
Yeah, so
okay.
he should be here any second. So we're changing the rundown a tiny bit. But I finished Ozark this weekend, which inspired this list of the least likable TV characters that I've seen. And before I give you the list, just know, I haven't watched a ton of old TV shows, so most of these are relatively recent.
Old TV shows.
Yeah, that's okay. I haven't watched any new TV shows, but
then you'll love this list.
Yeah, listen. It's
I've
all
watched
going to
them
be
all.
white noise to me.
I've probably
Who has
watched them
time to watch TV? Go ahead.
Mikey McNuggets.
I don't have a lot. We'll be honest, I don't have a lot. We'll start with number 5, though.
All right.
Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory.
I
can't
watch that
stand the
terrible
show. I can't stand him, and the fact that he got his own spinoff is a disgrace to good TV characters.
See, now that's a character I know and have never gotten. I'm like, what is the appeal to this show?
People love this show. It's awful.
Do they?
It gets good ratings.
I thought it was dope.
Brianna said,
it's okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
I must be the only one that don't watch Big Bang.
No, I say it's terrible, but I've never actually watched the full
Because
episode.
you can't get through an entire episode. Is it? I think it's because he's like his character's a geek.
NCIS.
I just think that maybe that's who they're trying to appeal to. And
there's
not
making
enough
fun of geeks. Is that still funny? I mean,
I don't know. I love Revenge of the Nerds. But I
but
can't
that was
stand
30
this
years
premise.
ago. It was a great movie.
And it was really funny. Big Bang, I'm with you on that.
It's a medium show.
Cannot stand him.
All
the
right.
fact he got his own spinoff, there's so many better characters that could have got their
It's
own
the
show.
younger him, right?
By the way,
It's the younger him.
By the way, Jay, you brought it up. The guy who played Lewis in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
That is David Carradine's brother. You know the actor David Carradine?
Is it Keith Carradine?
Or Keith? Is it Keith?
Carradine.
I'm sorry, Keith Carradine, who's a famous older actor. That's his brother.
Anthony Edwards from ER and Top Gun was also
Gilbert.
in that. And Booger
was
Presley
awesome,
was like one of the best movie characters of that decade.
John Goodman played the football coach.
Yes, he did.
Right?
I love that. That movie was very
The
good.
guy who played Ogre was in the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Wow, you're going deep IMDb.
Love that.
Okay, what's next?
All right, going number 4. I love The Office, one of my favorite sitcoms ever, but Andy Bernard, terrible character. Had a couple good one-liners throughout the show, but by the end of the season, by the end of the sitcom, when he was the boss, the absolute worst. The whole storyline, him going to Florida, just so stupid.
At the end of the show, it had jumped the shark 2 years before.
I never watched The Office. Did you guys watch it?
Phenomenal.
I don't think this. To me, I don't watch any sitcoms.
There was an
since Seinfeld.
There was an ex I had who watched The Office, so I didn't see a lot of.
I don't find any of them funny. There's a couple of Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO.
That's funny.
That's great.
That's a
That's
great
good.
show.
I'll give
That's
you
a
that.
great
But
show.
I loved Andy's character on that. And if we're going to cross over movie talk again,
yes,
his role in The Hangover
That's
was
where he's.
This is not an Ed Helms I love Ed Helms.
Yeah, okay, good. Because it's not an indictment of Ed Helms.
No,
It's
he's
his
great in
role
that.
on the show.
No, it's his character.
He had some funny seasons and some great lines, but
he had a couple one-liners, but the end of the show and his character arc towards the end, I could not have hated him.
His song in The Hangover about
So
baby
tigers.
Baby tigers.
So good.
It's like unbelievable.
The best.
Okay, who's 3?
Number 3. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad?
Of course.
Skylar White
little bit.
held Walter White from officially Breaking Bad, and by the end of the season,
was so
she was
annoying.
holding it back. She was so easy to hate. Tough to put her at 3 because she should have been higher, but 1 and 2.
What's unfair is she's like the only not bad person on that show, and yet you hate her. She was very
Well,
hateable.
the show is called.
Yeah.
Don't disappoint me, Mikey McNuggets.
This next 2 are going to be big.
I'm waiting for the 2.
It's a top 3. This was really a Mount Rushmore of 3.
Okay.
She was
Okay.
third on 3. Let's go to number 2, though.
Let's see.
Jeffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. I was sitting.
Well done. That
around
should have been
my-
number 1.
Wow.
It was number 1 until Sunday for me. It was number 1 until Sunday for me.
Oh, wow. So Ozark, someone in Ozarks took the
So
crown.
let's go to number 1 because Travis is on. We'll get to Travis in 1 sec. But
Okay.
Wendy Bird from Ozark became my
She's
official,
awful.
most least likable character in the history
Is
of
this
television.
going to be a spoiler alert, though?
I'm not going to tell you why, but let's
Okay,
just say
yeah.
for the last 3 seasons, every decision she made
Ugh,
made you hate
can't
her
stand it.
more and more and more, and she ruined so many
So
good
this is a
characters
slam
on
dunk
the
for
show.
you. It's not even close.
You should have had one of the girls from the show Girls on there. They're all annoying.
And the chat going to agree with me. If you're listening in the chat, I need you to put a number 1 in the chat if you agree with this. Put the ones up. Daenerys Targaryen is the worst character. You talk about the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. It went from one of the greatest shows of all time.
I just thought the last year was bad.
But the last 2,
Yeah.
she loses every decision she makes is hot garbage.
You gonna watch the prequel?
Yes, I will watch that.
House of Dragons?
So will I.
Yes.
I'm out.
You could.
Brad, you out?
I'm out.
I'm out. I see OG.
He's
I
watching
see you.
Walking Dead
Put
with
the
me.
ones up.
Walking
Where's
Dead.
my man? I don't
So
know.
this
why
is the top
he-
5. Wendy Bird's number 1. Joffrey could not have been happier when he died, but
Love that
let us
picture
know
of
on
Joffrey.
Twitter. And we have Travis Hafner, so
What-
we're going to
what-
keep that.
What happened to Negan?
Let's get to former Indians legend.
All right, yeah, it is time for the former Indians legend to join the program, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Very pleased to welcome
There he
Travis
is.
Hafner. There he is. Look at him. He looks like he can still put on a baseball
Jay,
uniform and play.
I played in a charity softball game. I don't know if you remember this, Travis, but we played at a charity softball game at the Lake Erie Crushers Stadium. You remember that? That was like 3 years ago. And he could still play. And I was playing first base for the other team, right?
Yeah.
And Travis gets up, and he's huge, and he's a left-handed hitter. I went into the outfield. I'm not standing at first base. He's a professional major league.
Because you didn't want to get hurt.
He's
That's
phenomenal.
why.
He's still unbelievable shape. He was great.
Travis, you
and he was
look
really
great.
nice too.
My God, you haven't changed a bit. What are you doing these days?
Well, I try to work out to stay in shape, and right now I work for the Guardians, and I do a lot of youth baseball. So I love coaching kids and enjoying that a lot.
There you go, Bull. There's your opening.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about it, Travis, because I'm coaching my son's. My son's 9. It's 3rd and 4th graders. We're off to an 0-2 start. I did double practice yesterday. These guys are saying it's too much practice. I don't know. What do you think? I got to get them swinging. They don't take enough swings. In winter here, you can't. It's hard to practice. You know that.
Yeah, like the best part of coaching youth baseball is just watching the development over the season. So you've done the right thing. Like get them off to an 0-2 start.
Right.
Lower expectations. And now you look like the genius when you start winning games.
That's right. When we're in the World Series, it'll all pay off.
Travis, I want to get your thoughts on the most controversial thing with baseball here in Cleveland over the last year, and that's the name change.
Here we go.
Where are you on that? From the Indians to the Guardians, where do you fall?
Well, I mean, I was, used to Indians for so long, and it's still tough to say Guardians, honestly. But, it is what it is. I understand the reasoning behind it, and I think over time it's just something you'll get used to. And the colors haven't changed much, or the uniforms, and I think probably by the end of the season, Guardians will roll off the tongue pretty easy.
Yeah, we've all made the mistake calling them Indians at least a couple of times on the show so far.
Yeah.
We just put a graphic up. It said North Dakota Goat. I have some fun facts about your high school. So you didn't even have a high school baseball team where you went to high school. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we just did summer baseball, and I'd usually have to go to 1 or 2 towns over just to play baseball.
That's crazy. That is just absolutely crazy to think that a guy with 200 major league home runs couldn't even play in high school. Here's my favorite Travis Hafner fact. You were the valedictorian of your class. Would you tell the panel how many people were in your graduating class?
There was 8.
Hey, that's okay. He was still number 1.
I always tell people that I finished in the top 10 of my class. That's even better when you say there's only 8.
Everyone can say that. That's so cool. What was it like, Travis, growing up in a small town like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all you know. So I grew up in like a farming community, really, really small town. So like every 15 minutes, there's like another small town. And like if that's all you know, like you're good with it. And I even went to like a fairly small town in Kansas for college, but you know, once you start going to like Dallas, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, like some of these minor league towns, like it was a big adjustment. And now I'm used to like, you know, we live in Tampa, was in Cleveland for a number of years. Like I'm just used to cities now, and that's, you know, what I like.
Man, even the like the A-ball cities must have seemed pretty big. I mean, when you got to the big leagues and you start going to some of these big cities, and you know, even Cleveland is a smallish city compared to some of the other, like your first trip to New York or Chicago or LA, was it mind-blowing?
Yeah, New York especially was, you're just like, wow. Like I remember going down to Times Square and just seeing that, and you're like, wow, this is so many people, you know, just from what I was used to going to New York, it was quite the adjustment.
Hey Travis, your door opened up behind you. That was really slick how that did that.
Yeah, no. Is there a ghost?
I know, like
somebody's crawling on the floor. What's going on?
It was actually my dog. I had an English bulldog, and he came in to sit on the chair.
Okay.
Hey, that's okay.
The internet was wondering.
Yeah, right. Hey, Travis, what do you miss most about not playing anymore, if anything?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people will say like they miss hanging out in the clubhouse with the guys, being a part of that. Like the camaraderie is great. I miss all the preparation, working out in the cage, watching the video, coming up with a game plan, and then going out and facing like, you know, one of the best pitchers in the game every night. Like, just that preparation and the battle and competitiveness is what I really miss.
You know, Travis, you know, a lot of times when you play for the Indians, we all know that there were certain restraints on the budget, restraints on the payroll. As a player, did it ever frustrate you a little bit that you kind of knew that you guys, you know, would have to, you know, build up every couple of years, and then when you got the guys and they paid some people and got some different pieces, that you would have to kind of tear it down every other year or every third year, whatever the case may be. Did that ever seep into the locker room, or did you guys just kind of, you know, go out and just play?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like you just tried to focus on what you had as opposed to like maybe what you didn't have or what you could have. But you know, certainly like there were some, you know, frustrations like when we had, you know, guys like CC who left, who was like a great teammate, great player. You'd love to keep him. But you know, like I think for the most part, we just realized like this is the team we got, and we got to go out and play our best, and you know, try to win ball games with what we have. And you know, for the most part, like there's always a good attitude, good mindset in the clubhouse.
You mentioned CC. When he gets traded to Milwaukee that year, and then he just went bananas. I mean, he couldn't like nobody could hit him for a while. Are you guys like following that closely when one of your best teammates gets traded, or is it like he's on another team, it's off our radar?
No, we follow it. I mean, it's a family. I was good friends with CC, and what was crazy about that for CC was he was heading into free agency that off season, and he basically went to the Brewers and was like, "I'll pitch every fourth day."
It was amazing.
And it went on for months, where you know his agent was probably like, "What are you doing? Just you know, get through the season healthy, have a good postseason run." But that was just the type of teammate he was and team player he was.
You know, Travis, you're a home run hitter. You're a power hitter. I always, you know, like to look at other people who do some of the same things you do. Who was a guy, if you had to look at it and said, all right, I'm so envious of this man's swing. Whose swing would you trade for yours? Like, who do you think is a guy who you're just like, man, if I had that swing, man, that looks effortless. Who did you really admire that was also a power hitter during your era?
let's see, during my era, Todd Helton always had a good swing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
He was fun to watch hit. I think currently Mike Trout has a phenomenal swing. Guys that are just, it seems like whatever pitch you throw them, they can hammer. Like, the majority of big league hitters, like, we have to look for pitches. You can't just go up there and hit everything, but there are some guys that just seem so talented. They just walk up there, and just whatever you throw them, they're on.
So let me ask you a question, Travis. So when you are at the plate and you see the top big league pitchers, which one had the smoke that you had to be real concerned about? Which pitcher did you have to be concerned about on that mound?
Actually, like, every pitcher that you face, like, you have to have respect for, because I remember when I first got called up to the big leagues, we faced very early on a guy with like a 5 ERA, and you watch him on TV and you're thinking, man, if I ever face that guy, I would smoke him like 3 or 4 times. And then you get up there and you realize, like, wow, he's locating really well. He's got a great changeup. This is going to be tougher than I thought. But I definitely noticed, like, the top pitchers in the league are the top pitchers in the league for a reason, because they're really, really good. They got great stuff. They locate. And it seemed like some of the guys that I would face in their Cy Young years, their stuff was just like a little bit better, and they didn't really miss spots ever. So you've got nothing to hit sometimes on you get 3-4 bats off them in a night, you just got nothing to hit.
Going back to the pretty swings, I remember as a kid, Darryl Strawberry, I thought, had the sweetest swing I'd ever seen in my life. I loved watching, even though I hated the Mets as a kid, but I loved watching Darryl Strawberry swing.
Yeah.
Why is it that lefties seem to have prettier swings? I think generally they do.
Yeah, and I guess to your earlier question, like, Ken Griffey Jr., how did I miss that?
Poster child for sweet swings.
Yeah, you just, in your backyard as a kid, Ken Griffey Jr., Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think it's just the follow through of a left-handed swing. You just see that, like, pull home run to right field, and there's something really sweet about it.
I had a lefty tell me this, and I don't know. I've never really talked about it with many guys, but one lefty played for years in the big leagues, theorized that, he said, we're finishing our swing and we know where our momentum needs to go. As a hitter, you're thinking you're running to first base. And he said whether or not it's subconscious or whether it was a real thing, for him, he always felt like his natural momentum needed to go to first base anyhow. And that's why he supposed that he had such a beautiful follow-through, because everything he was thinking was getting down that first baseline. You buy that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, like, because, the lefty finishes their swing and their momentum just kind of takes it that way. I never thought about running ever to first base. I was just pretty locked in not hitting. So I knew I wasn't going to beat anything out anyway.
All right, well, talking about running and beating something out, I don't know if this is true, but I heard, and I'll ask you to confirm it, that in the game in which you hit your first major league homer, I think it came against the Indians, right?
Yep.
You were playing for the Rangers. I was told that you also had a couple of doubles and maybe a single in that game, and then later in the game, you hit one that could be 3. And so Travis Hafner, probably one of the least likely guys to ever hit for the cycle. Is it true that you were thrown out trying to stretch a double to a triple to try to get a cycle in that game?
Yeah. So it came up, and everybody on the team was like, hey, if you hit a ball in the gap, just keep going, like, don't stop. So actually what happened was I hit a ball to left center, and I think Matt Lawton might have been playing left field. So, like, it hits off the wall or bounces up against the wall, and I'm, like, almost to second, but not quite there yet. And I think, the ball's coming down. It looked like Lawton was just going to, like, catch it on a hop and throw it in. But then he, like, caught it on a hop, and it, like, trickled away from him. So then I kind of, like, had to restart to go. So it might have been a double and an error anyway.
Right.
But I don't know, like, as this is happening in real time, I'm thinking, like, man, I don't want to be the rookie who's trying to stretch, something into a triple and get thrown out and look selfish. So
he did have 13 career triples. I just looked it up.
Wow, that's a lot more than I would have guessed. That's more than I would have guessed.
Did you know you had 13?
I would have guessed like 2 or 3.
That's what I would have been too, Travis.
In fact, you had 3 total in your last 2 years. 2 in your last year in Cleveland, you had 2, and then with the Yankees, your last year you did have 1. I don't know who it was against, but You must have been, maybe you got faster as you got older. You got a little faster. I don't know.
Hey, Travis, your greatest baseball memory, what was it?
I would say the year that we made the playoffs in 2007. We knocked off the Yankees in the first round, and then we got to Game 7 against the Red Sox. Couldn't get over that hump to make it to the World Series, but just that whole season, watching that team come together, winning our division, and then beating the Red Sox beating the Yankees was just an incredible run and a lot of fun.
I felt like that ALCS too was the World Series because you had the Rockies and the Diamondbacks going in the National League, and it just felt like a foregone conclusion. Whoever won that ALCS
was going to win.
And I believe you guys went up 3-1.
We were sick.
Francona was was leading the Red Sox surge. That was a great year, great memories. Hey, Mikey McNuggets is our producer on the show. He has a question for you, Travis. So go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, Travis. So after Jay's question about having 8 kids in your high school class, I looked up your high school. Is it true that your high school is called Carrington, Piggery, Buchanan, Kensal, Skykeston High School? And if though, is that the most names of a single high school in America?
Yeah, so we were. It could be now. At the time, we were just Sykeston, and that school has since closed.
Wow.
And now I think a lot of this, if there are Sykeston kids, they go to Carrington. So yeah, it could be multiple names to that high school, but that's how the sports teams were. Like my basketball team was Bowdoin, Hertzfield, Sykeston. The football team they just called Wells County because there were so many teams. You had to combine so many towns or schools to get a team.
That's amazing.
What position did you play in football?
I didn't play football. We grew up on a farm, so the fall was like our big harvest season. So my dad always wanted me to put farm work.
So that's how you got so big.
Yeah. He was farm boy strong. There's no doubt about that. So I wonder what their jerseys look like now, Mikey, with all those names on the front.
Yeah.
They must run out of space.
They probably just use like abbreviations. So there's probably like 7 or 8 abbreviations and then HS at the end of it.
I like the Wells County. It's short, sweet, just encompasses all the schools in the county.
Travis, what was your most favorite and least favorite city to travel to when you were in the big leagues?
So I was enjoyed Chicago. There was like great restaurants by the hotel. Like, we had I think Michigan Avenue right there. So like just a lot to do as far as, if you wanted to go shopping or whatever, but the restaurants were fantastic. I don't know that I had a least favorite city. Like, there was a lot of times, like I wouldn't even leave the hotel. Like, you get in, 3 in the morning or something from your flight, wake up, room service lunch and head to the park and just never leave the hotel.
Travis, do you get to see much of the Guardians these days? And if so, what's your general takeaway after 30-some games?
Yeah, we'll follow them on TV. We have a lot of like youth baseball practices and stuff, so I don't get to see all the games, but I think they've gotten off to a really good start. And, offensively, I think they've surprised some people, and it's been good to see like some of these young guys step up and, kind of take advantage of their opportunity.
Yeah. Do you see what's at the bottom of the screen right now? I have to ask you about that. That's our producer, Mikey
There's
McNuggets in
truth
there.
to that. Like, I'm calculated with some of my answers.
No, he's smart. Because, Bull, as you asked that question, I'm thinking, first of all, Travis is too nice a guy to do that. But secondly, he's too smart. He doesn't want to be an internet clickbait headline. Hafner trashes Kansas City.
I was just thinking Kansas City, too. That's so funny.
I wonder why.
I'm like, Kansas City sucks in my head. Travis didn't say that. I don't even know.
Travis, it is always great to see you. You look great. Just seeing you brings back so many wonderful memories. Thanks for joining the Ultimate
Travis.
Cleveland Sports Show. And when baseball topics permit, we're going to call on you again. Is that all right?
That'd be great. I love being on the show. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, you bet.
Right, thanks, Travis.
Travis Hafner. For me, I always felt like, wow, Jim Thome. How blessed were Indians fans to be able to root for a guy like Jim Thome for as long as we did. I always thought like he was kind of the second coming of Jim Thome. I loved so much about his game. Just such a stand-up guy, the kind of guy any team would want to put in the clubhouse. And
Had a
build
hard
it out.
time staying healthy later in his career.
He did.
Hafner,
A lot of guys do.
But in his prime, he was a feared slugger. And he was clutch, hit a lot of grand slams.
A lot of grand
slams. You hear 6 grand slams, like, oh, that doesn't sound like a lot. That's a lot of grand slams.
You know why? He hit him in big spots, too.
Yes, he did.
He hit him when the team was down 2 runs.
Yeah. Well, I thought the next Jim Tumley was Brian Giles. I thought that was him.
Yeah, Brian
Giles. I thought he was nice. And by the way, who has the best swing of all time, but wasn't hitting a lick? Your boy Russell Branion. Russell Branion had
he had a pretty swing.
He was the
classic
Griffey
4A player.
Yeah, I know. He was a tweener. He was too good to be a minor leaguer, but he never broke through at the major league level.
Yep.
Sweetest swing of all time, as long as we're talking about that. I've got Griffey.
Yeah, Griffey's. I loved Strawberry as a kid. I loved but Griffey
Strawberries
is
was
number
so
1.
big.
I loved it though. He was. In my mind, he was this big, huge guy, but he was really just tall and skinny as a rail.
I loved his finish.
By the way, King Griffey. See, back in the day, there was actually African Americans that represented back then. Like, you got to think about it. We had Lofton, we had Big Hurt, we had we had Griffey. You take a look at all of those players that
least amount of black players.
Crazy.
American black players.
The number has gone down dramatically, and while Latin American, the numbers are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball's done a terrible job in cities in America getting kids to play baseball.
Well, I don't think it's so much. They haven't done themselves any favors, but for neighborhoods like ours, the faster sports do better.
Well,
football, the basketball.
I would just counter your point by saying baseball's tried.
Right.
They've got all kinds of initiatives, all kinds of programs. I'm fascinated by this topic, and I used to talk to professional football and basketball players about. I'm always want to know what other sports did you do, and a surprisingly low number of African American basketball and football players that ever played baseball. And I would always say, why? Too boring, too slow.
Yeah.
You need 20 kids.
Right.
The entry to the barrier to entry, you needed all the equipment. Basketball, give me a ball and a hoop. You got a game.
And a lot of the cities, we had Mighty Might baseball. A lot of the cities, the money came from the city. So when you signed up, you paid $20, right?
Yeah.
You paid $20. They gave you your uniform. You got all the stuff. And I just remember, I played 3 sports, but my dad, his favorite sport, he played in high school, his favorite sport was baseball.
Yeah.
So everybody.
But he was of that era, too, where it meant more.
Yeah.
My Little League team, we were like the United Nations on my Little League team. We had 2 Jewish kids, 2 Italian kids, 2 Irish kids, 2 black kids, 2 Puerto Rican kids, and 2 Asian kids.
I mean, that's not
it was beautiful. Everybody played together.
But that's not uncommon for where you grew up.
Yeah, that's true.
When you grow up in the middle of America.
Right.
Honestly, when you look, I believe they're in single digits now, African American players in the major leagues.
Yes.
Right. That's stunning because I think at one point it was as high as the 20s.
Yeah.
Like 22, 25%. And there's a lot of different reasons. I've read research papers that college kids have done on this as to why. And I think the overwhelming takeaway is it's just too slow.
Resources,
especially for young people.
And you need a field.
Right.
You need the bases. You need the gloves. It's so easy to have a pickup neighborhood football or basketball.
Kids don't do pickup baseball anymore. We did when we were kids.
I grew up on pickup baseball.
All the time. We just go to the park. Me and my buddies, we play baseball.
Can you imagine 8 kids in your high school graduating class? No high school baseball team?
I had over 1,000 people in my high school graduating class.
Wow, that's
over 1,000.
That's huge.
Crazy.
By the way,
G, before you do that real quick, because I don't want to forget, because you mentioned Ken Griffey Jr. I would argue that Ken Griffey Jr. is the coolest athlete in the history of sports. The coolest athlete.
I'll give you that. You know why? Yeah. Because he had gym shoes. Like you know how transcendent you got to be for you to play in baseball spikes.
That's right.
But you have gym shoes, and it's a top seller.
He was the man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
MJ was pretty damn cool.
He was, but I'll take maybe because I'm biased for baseball.
That backwards
hat. I take Ken Griffey Jr. over anybody.
With the cigars and the Kangol.
And Ken Griffey Jr. before he traded and got hurt, I'd never seen a better baseball player than Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I think he's
especially because he's no steroid.
Best natural player of our life.
Without a doubt.
Right.
Fry on the internet says Ken Griffey Jr. has the best swing. The dog show says Mike Hargrove for everybody. Like, I guess it's a Grover fan. He just like Mike
Wait,
Hargrove.
Mike Hargrove is the coolest player? Who's best swing?
Yeah, best swing.
No, Hargrove he was the human rain delay.
Yeah,
in between every pitch, he would step out.
Like that. I don't
know. He's got this and this and the glove tug. That was horrible to watch. I loved him as a manager. But
Jason Burns says, "Man, this show asks some questionable questions to players when they come on."
Well, we're not going to leave anything on the table.
It was questionable.
I don't know.
I think we're trying to get him to dog a city.
Yeah.
But those are fun questions.
I wasn't really getting him to. I mean, he didn't have to dog the city. He said, I didn't love going or whatever.
Yeah, but it's how it's going to read.
Yeah.
Least favorite.
Yeah.
It'll be Hafner trashes Kansas City.
Yeah, fair enough.
And by the way, people are definitely in on the paranormal activity in Hafner's house.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's the ghost of Chief Wahoo. That's opening that door.
That was kind of creepy. Here was my fear. Perhaps someone's in the bathroom and doesn't know that Travis is conducting an interview. And what might we see?
I saw that door open up. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of them things. I'm gonna be real still and act like nothing happened.
I thought somebody hit the floor and was crawling.
Like a little kid, like his kid was coming.
Are we gonna do? We're gonna do final takes right now.
We're going to go to break.
Oh, break, okay.
We're going to come back with final takes, and I want to add one name to the best swing discussion.
Ooh, okay, so we'll think about who we left off.
Austin Hedges.
What's that?
Austin Hedges.
Oh, you're going to give it to us right now. I thought you were going to make us think about it.
Austin Hedges has the worst swing in baseball.
He homered over the weekend, and I sent Bull a message. Your boy just homered. He goes, yeah, that's his one homer a month.
That's it. He checked off May. Got one.
He's got 3 now.
Yeah.
And we've only played 2 months.
I hear you.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll think about our final takes, and we'll deliver them as we put a bow on this Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show right after this. Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away,
our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
Seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
join us for 3 News at 6.
So you know what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajai Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
So imagine, if you will, there was beautiful audio under that beautiful picture. That's how we're going to get into our final take today. By the way, before we do that, I just want to congratulate you for the moment of the show. The live call on the account services was absolutely priceless.
The best.
Hey,
If you missed it, go back and watch it on YouTube.
The best.
Sorry, sweetheart, we're not getting a house now. Never close this back.
My favorite part was, can I combine my credit score with my wife's? Because I'm good at 780 at that point.
Like I'm straight.
It
He was
fluctuates.
He was like, this guy, he can't be. Is he for real?
You know what? I guarantee you he told his coworkers about that call.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Right.
All right, Bull, final takes. Lead us off.
Guys, there's a problem in this country, and it has nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats. It's all about cat people and dog people. You see, normal people are dog people. Dog people are better people. Let's be honest. No offense to you, cat people, but I'm about to offend you. When you think of a cat lady, you think of somebody like this. Look at this. By the way,
live laugh.
Look at this lady. Does anybody want to hang out with this lady? Her house smells. She's got cat poop buckets all over the house. I don't want you. People, some cat people are like, well, you have to take your dog for a walk. And I say, well, that's good, because then there's no poop in the house. I don't want the dog pooping in the house. You got cat. Those are Anthony's cats, by the way. One of our assistant producers, Anthony. Some of those are his cats. He's a cat. He's embarrassed about it. Cat people are embarrassed. They're like, yeah, I got like 10 cats. I mean, it's ridiculous. So first of all, I don't want the poop bucket. So my dog goes outside. Yeah, I got to clean it up. It's a little gross, but I throw it away. It never gets it. No poop in my house. Okay. And when you think of a cat lady. Cat ladies are weird. They're creepy, and cats are scary. Cats are like Stewie from Family Guy. They're always up to some shenanigans that you want no part of. Dogs, they're like they're like your cousin's kid that's a little dopey, all right, but they're fun. Like my dog. My dog is fun to be around. There's my dog Crash. He's ready to go outside and take a walk. He's not pooping in the house, right, Crashy? He's ready to go outside and take a walk. I go outside with Crashy, and we have a lot of fun, right? Now, cat people, they dress their cats up. With dog people, we don't dress our dogs up. I mean, that's nonsense to be dressing up a dog. I go out, I'm sociable. Well, okay, we sometimes put a bandana on them. We have put a bandana, I'll admit that. But we don't go any further than that as dog people. We stick with the bandana. He looks very manly with that bandana, doesn't he? He's ready. Okay, all right. Well, we did put a jersey on him once. Yeah, we did. All right, one time.
Look at the fear in his eyes. He's wearing a Bengals jersey.
It was the playoffs. I put an AJ Green jersey on, and he wore Cubs hat. And yeah, he did do that too. But all right, listen. Dogs make you sociable. You go out, you chat with your neighbors because you're walking the dog. You meet with the other dog people. The cat people don't make any friends. They're staying locked tight. So be a dog person, not a cat person. Wise up.
I had nothing to do with that.
G. Bush, go.
I'm gonna use the first 10 seconds of my final take to say. By the way, the cat ladies, there's a 75% chance that they have old newspapers everywhere in the house.
Everywhere.
By the way, that goes.
They're hoarders. Cat ladies and hoarders, the one and the same.
But let's get to the people. We talked about annoying people. As you can see earlier, I get this call, right? Now, listen, account services or bill collectors or scammers, they don't care nothing about the time frame of the day they call you. They're gonna beat your ears up from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. All I do is hit the silence button. But here's a problem. That's fine for them. They are paid nuisances. But I hate when somebody hit me up and they my family members or my friends and they say, yo, ring, 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 ring. Hello? You talking low because you want to set. Or you talking low because I'm in my cubicle. I'm talking low because I'm doing manual labor and I ain't supposed to be having my phone on. I get the phone, y'all talking all loud. Hey, man, G. Bush, man? Hey, man, I know you see, hey, what you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing, bro? It's 9 o'clock. What you think grown people do at 9 o'clock? And then I put you on pause, and then I hate this. They just call right back, like ding, 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 ding. They hit you right back, like you just silenced them. Now, in your heart, you feel like a bad person. Maybe your mom's sick. Maybe somebody is on the side of the road. Maybe the ambulance is coming to get somebody. No, it was none of the above. They tricked you. You answered the second call, and now all of a sudden, hey, man, what you up to, man? Yeah, I was just seeing what you was doing. I ain't doing nothing. How can you call me at 11? That means you don't got no job. How do you, what grown, if you over 30 and you can talk to somebody at 10, 12, 1 o'clock, unacceptable. That means you are working less than 20 hours a week. And you might see, stop it. Don't call me when at 10 o'clock and ask me what I'm doing when you know I'm on. You see me. I'm live right now. You know it. It's on my Instagram feed.
What's up, bro?
Me. What's up, fam? What you up to? And if you need to borrow money, you don't need to start with that. You just need to say, shoot me a text. Hey, can I hold 30? That's all we need. And that's all I got.
Let me holler at you. Let me holler
What about people that work overnight, G?
Let me holler at you, right?
Maybe they work overnights.
Well, that's their problem. You got to get a better shift.
I mean, These two.
Now it's your turn.
I was about to. Let me bring it back.
Oh, my God.
Compose
Let's
myself.
get serious.
And my final take here. Note to self, to the Milwaukee Bucks fans.
Oh.
Did you think you were walking into Boston and winning a Game 7? No.
Me no like it.
No. Let me tell you, do your history. I have been a subject of the subject matter in Boston, right?
Yeah.
You're not walking into Boston on a final and winning in Boston. Very rarely is it done, right? They do strange things. First of all, the Boston folks, they're the luckiest folks out here. I'm the lucky they're Irish.
Yeah.
They win everything, right? We used to go up in the Boston Garden. They do silly things like this. Paint the visitor locker room pink.
Iowa.
Oh, sit in here and you're like, oh man, I feel real loose. It's quiet. Right?
I need a nap.
Here. And then in May, June, turn the heat on in the locker room. Ooh, sleepy. And then the ghost of the Garden. I can hear this chant for Larry Bird. Just gonna, he scored a bucket, it'd be like this, Larry Bird. So Giannis Antetokounmpo,
yeah,
and crew. That was a wasted trip. I could have told you how it was going to go when you let it slip out of your hands in Milwaukee. This was the inevitable. You had a good season, but never, ever, ever leave it in the hands of going to Boston and thinking that you're going to come away with a win. And if you do, you're only one of a select few that have done it. Check your history. That's all I say. I'm out.
That's a good Dikembe.
That is.
I'm looking at it like, well, he could go as Dikembe for Halloween, and all he has to do is just do that.
If he hit you with one of them long fingers, you might pass out.
You're right.
By the way, how many Boston teams have gone to conference finals in the last 20 years?
Listen, he's right. It's the most spoiled fan
crazy.
base in the history of spoiled fan bases.
The Patriots all the time, the Celtics all the time. The Red Sox in recent years have gone a lot, even the
It's crazy.
Bruins.
I know, it's nuts. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with my thoughts on the NIL. By the end of business today, it's expected that Ohio high school athletes will be able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. And to that I say good. Long time coming. This is America. If you've got a skill set, you should be able to monetize it. We've got teenagers playing professional golf and tennis. They're making money. Why not the high school kids? But it comes with this caveat. I have one major fear. We've already seen how the NIL can go off the rails in a hurry with college kids. Now we're talking about high school kids. It'll be a very small percentage of them that get to monetize their abilities. Probably 0.5% of all high school athletes will ever have to deal with this problem. My only hope is we don't completely throw these kids to the wolves without any barriers. College football, college sports in general just said, it's wide open, kids. Make what you can. Please, for those states that are adding it, including Ohio, make sure it comes with a strict set of guidelines. Get these kids protection, make sure they know what they're signing, and make sure they understand, because most 17-year-olds don't. Uncle Sam's coming for his 30%. And you can pay him now or you can pay him later. But if you don't set it aside, that's going to be a very unattractive bill later in life. We should know by the end of the day, guys.
Well
We should
said,
know,
Jay.
because the voting closed on it yesterday. And the expectation is, and we heard Coach Holtmann say it, it's expected to pass. But I hope we look out for the kids that are going into that pool, because there's sharks swimming there.
And I'm fascinated to see or hear what Maurice Claret's going to say to us tomorrow about this, however it turns out.
Yeah, he's going to be a terrific guest tomorrow. He lived that life.
Well, Coach Holtmann talked about education. I mean, there's an education component that's missing here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who should do it. Is it the university? Is it the high school
Sure.
system? Somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because the bill is going to come due and payable.
Yeah, it is.
Most importantly, G, you need to call out one. I feel like there's one specific relative you want to call out. Do you want to do that?
You want to name names?
You want to name one? I feel like there's somebody There's one relative that's ticking you off. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes.
No, this is a package deal.
Oh, package?
All of them.
Listen, it's like, see, for us, our cousins are like brothers, right? Like you.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? What's up? And then your friends is like your cousins.
What's up, bro?
You see the trickle down
moves up a notch.
It moves up a notch. So here the thing, I can come back home. They'll just have your shirt on. Yeah, I needed a little shirt real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
wait, somebody just walk into your room and take your shirt?
Oh yeah, that's it. I got two brothers. They just pull up. Like, yeah, let me get that real quick.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
You mentioned Maurice Clarett on tomorrow's show. One of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow is the fact that Deshaun Watson has just said to the Browns offense, pack your bags.
Love it.
We're going to the Bahamas.
That's beautiful.
Right?
That was
we
crazy.
see quarterbacks treat their linemen in particular to watches, steak dinners. But this cat's taking the offense to the Bahamas. So we'll discuss that on tomorrow's show along with Maurice Clarett.
That guaranteed bag.
You aren't kidding.
That $230.
Well, if any player in the history of the NFL can afford to do it, it's Deshaun Watson.
He could buy the Bahamas, I think.
He might. He might. All right, Mikey McNuggets is telling us we got to roll. We are back tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow.